Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever signed. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
So it's rough when you come in Monday morning and you're talking to everybody about what stories to do, and the only thing Tom wants to talk about for 30 minutes is Drake, 50 Cent, Diddy. He was to talk about the video analysis on the video.
Nice,
I'm like, Tom,
man.
I don't think people care about the video. Let it go.
He's
It's like, no, you have to understand, it's a very important video.
30 minutes.
The
our audience
entire
is not-
economy is tied to it. Oil prices went up a few percent because of that video.
Yeah.
He's making the correlation. I'm like, Tom, this is not what the audience wants to hear.
He's like top
So-
5, dead or alive.
No,
he's
we're
like
not-
challenging.
we're not
He
gonna do that.
freestyled. It was
We're not
impressive.
going to do that.
I
We're not
thought
gonna
we
do
were
that.
worried about the birth rate in America.
No,
No,
because
we're not.
then the next thing is like the manhole.
Yeah.
Manhole in New York. I'm like, what does the Diddy and 50 Cent story have to do with the manhole?
Yeah.
But apparently there's a manhole that's circle, not triangle, not a square, because you know triangle and square, they fall through.
Yes.
Right? And circle is the only thing. And so the manholes in New York, you know, apparently it's a big deal. People are going all the way down, coming up. It's almost like the movie that just came out that the 20-year-old director did it and apparently did
Back
120
rooms.
million back rooms. Where 630 million square miles of space in the back rooms that you and Tico went and watched it yesterday.
Crazy.
But anyways, those are not the top stories, folks. It's just what Tom was interested in this morning. But we are going to talk about Spencer Pratt because tomorrow, Rob, is it tomorrow or is it today?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow
morning,
is it.
Tuesday.
Tuesday is Spencer Pratt. It looks like he's going to be a top 2 advancing LA. Very important for him to advance. Then the concert, 250-year anniversary concert that Milli Vanilli was going to be performing at. Blame It on the Rain. I mean, can you imagine all of those songs?
Blame it on the rain.
What's the other one? What's the other one? Blame It on the Rain is one of them.
Milli Vanilli. Blame It on the Rain was the best song. What was the second one? Girl, you know it's true.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Girl.
Ooh, I love you. I love you.
I love you
think it's
too,
one of
man.
the two, yeah. The fact that I know it is embarrassing, but let me tell you, I love this song in Germany. It played.
Well,
anyways, concerts getting canceled. They're going to do something else for 250. Lots of things to talk about there. Then a New York Times story comes out, which Vinny is very interested in this story, where Bill Gates, for years, hired people to dress like Mr. Rogers. Is this really a real? This is Rob,
York-
is this a true story?
Yes.
He paid
Yes.
money to consultants to teach him how to dress like Mr. Rogers.
They had mannequins to dress up to be like, yeah, I don't look like an evil, crazy person.
That's a crazy
Do that
story.
outfit.
That's
yeah.
a crazy story.
Well, when you,
That's a crazy story.
Oh, yeah.
And then
It's a
we got
beautiful day in the
Google.
vaccine hood.
Google wants to release a bunch of mosquitoes, and it's kind of weird because it's going with the story of explosion of ticks. And these ticks apparently have viruses that are making people allergic to red meat.
Yep.
Very weird stories that's going on there with the mosquitoes. So not that the Google mosquitoes have to do with that, but people are making a correlation. Maybe we'll talk about that story as well. 780 people arrested in France after celebrating PSG winning. And then Dominic Tarczynski, you're showing the video about how they celebrate when they won in Poland. They're all going crazy celebrating. No rapes, no arrests, no nothing.
No
Everybody went
vandalism.
home.
And they clean up after
And if you
themselves.
see what France was looking like, it was absolutely insane. Then, for some of you guys that love heights, there was a group of people that were stuck on this roller coaster. I mean, this is going to give you a lot of weird feelings when you watch this. Literally, they're stuck at the top of the roller coaster, at the top, 105 feet up, and these firefighters have to come and take them off and walk all the way down. The visual, just the thought, if you got vertigo, if you love heights, can you just imagine walking all the way down from this roller coaster ride? Somebody comes up and says, we're going to help you get off. Yeah, right, you're going to help me get off. But anyways, we'll show you the clips on this. Pretty wild. And then there's a couple other stories. One of them is New York wants to come out. This is Hochul, that to put tracking devices in there. Rob, is that the one, to put tracking device
Yes, sir.
in there? If you have over 16 speeding tickets, they want to track you to make sure you don't do this more often. And then AI data centers, a CEO comes out, Cerebra CEO comes out saying AI as an industry has done a terrible job of selling data centers. We ought to pay our own way. So he's saying we ought to do a better job selling that And then we got a couple other stories. Of course, we have to talk about what's going on with Iran as well. With the reason, there's a rumor that Pezeshkian, the president, resigned. That was going viral. Now they're saying we don't know if it's true or not. It's opposition news that released that, but he needs the supreme leader to sign off, and they don't want to do that because Pezeshkian, who is fairly a fair-minded guy that wants to negotiate, IRGC has taken over Iran, and there's nothing that we can do. Who knows? We may get some time to get into that story as well. With that being said, before we get started, it was yesterday. We had people over at the house, and I'm walking around, and Tom is asking me about the different shoes. So I wore the white, the brown, and the black this weekend, okay? All weekend I wore the white, the brown, and the black. The white was for Senna's birthday. The brown I wore at the office on Friday, and the black I wore yesterday, right? Every single day, except for now, I think it's 12 days. Since September 9th of 2025, I have worn these Future Looks Bright shoes. They're the most comfortable shoes I have with the on-cloud, the Superfoam technology on the bottom, and then made in Tuscany, made in Italy. Rob, if you want to play this clip, folks, with Father's Day being around the corner, if you haven't yet picked up yourself a Future Looks Bright shoe for yourself, maybe pick it up for your father or somebody that you love. Go ahead and play the clip, Rob. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. There you go. Go to VTmerch.com, place your order. Again, go to VTmerch.com, place your order with the latest FLB shoes. Some sizes are not available. 14 is still not in, but go check to make sure the size is in because they sell out fairly quickly once they come in. All right, with that being said, let's get right into it. Top story, tomorrow, LA mayoral race. Is there any chance that Spencer Pratt will go on into the November election? Now, here's the thing. Everybody wanted top two. The liberals in California, the progressive, wanted top two to be on the left. This is what's going on with the race right now. If you look at the numbers, Bass is still in the lead. This is, I don't know which poll this is, Rob, because there's some later polls that's as of the 24th. There's some polls that have come out the last couple of days because today's the June 1st, tomorrow's June 2nd. But if you go based on this, the latest poll, it's Bass Rahman, the progressive socialist that wants to blame cars for people stealing parts from a car, which is very weird. But Pratt's making some momentum. Rob, if you want to play this clip.
Shows the race is now a toss-up between incumbent Democrat Karen Bass, progressive upstart Nithya Raman, and Spencer Pratt. Fox News contributor Mary Catherine Ham is here. So Pratt was in the building yesterday, and then he did Fox and Friends, and he did
Rob,
Martha Show.
You can stop this one here because we'll do our commentary. But so the numbers, you see the numbers where it's at. Spencer Pratt rejects Trump's backing in L.A. mayoral race, and while Jimmy Kimmel criticizes Spencer Pratt's LA mayoral race. Rob, if you want to play this clip, this is the one about Trump. Go for it.
Do you want his endorsement?
I don't need anyone's endorsement but mothers. That's who's getting me elected. People keep forgetting it's Democratic moms that do not feel safe that are putting me in office in 5 days.
Can you explain to me something? Because you're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of giving your opinion on anything, but you won't give me an opinion on President Trump. And I get it that his endorsement, his blessing may not be good for you. It likely isn't good for you in LA.
That's your
But if
opinion.
you're fearless, what do you think of President Trump? You're a Republican, right?
Again. This right here, what you're doing.
I'm just asking.
No,
Look at him.
Yeah. This conversation is what's destroyed local elections.
Yeah.
People don't care in LA. They want to feel safe. They don't want to step in human poop. I don't need to have personal opinions about anybody that doesn't affect them stepping in human poop. It's not being scared. I'm just not falling in for this tribal politics back and forth. It's a local election. I'm not running for president, so it doesn't matter my opinion on any president.
What do you think about his answer, Vin?
I absolutely love it because look at what the freaking fake, horrible media is trying to do. They're trying to get you in that got you moment because apparently people in California want Karen Bass. They're Stockholm syndrome in full effect. I don't understand what you think Spencer Pratt is doing this because he needs the money. No, he's personally been affected, Pat. And like, I don't understand. I had this conversation with my cousin yesterday who lives in California. Karen Bass is leading. Like, what has she done that makes somebody go, you know what? I'm going to go with her. If it's just identity politics, if it's just because she's a strong black woman, give me a freaking break, okay? She was in Ghana during the freaking fires and knowingly, apparently, allegedly, with that leaked audio that came out, okay? Failed at homelessness, failed at taxes. She is a failed mayor, and the fact that she is still leading, the only thing is identity politics or people just love abuse. You have fallen in love with your abusers, California, and you don't want to change it, period. That's why you vote for people like that, and you keep voting for people like Gavin Newsom. You guys need change, not Barack Obama change, real, actual change. And I honestly, Pat, I don't know him personally. I think this guy, what do you guys have to lose? You could only go up from here. I think Spencer Pratt is their decision, period. Go for it.
Tom.
I think there's a couple things that are showing up. First of all, I agree with that. It's not just Stockholm Syndrome. It's habitual. It's the old elections in America. And this was before you were born, Vinny. Okay. Before I was born, you would walk into a voting booth and pull the little curtain around, and there was you could just pull the lever. And that was set up that you could pull the party lever, just vote Democrat. And so that was put in there by the party machines. Chicago loved it because it didn't matter. The voter was just voting on the party. Hey, trust me, all of our guys are good. Yeah. And that's just terrible. And what you're saying is correct. What's going on in the numbers, Pat? It doesn't look like Rahman. Rahman has been fading. She's been fading on Kalshi. There's a Kalshi on this. It's got her at 13 points. And there's also the Public Sentiment Institute, which is just did their the Public Sentiment Institute. I give it to you, Rob, in the text, and they were out on X. They are the most recent poll. They were Friday afternoon, and they've got Bass at 40, Pratt at 21, Rahman at 12, and you see Kalshi at 62, 26, 13. But there's a lot. I think there's a lot of Democrat money on the Kalshi side, which I think Kalshi's ultimately, as we come to November, it's going to come to the point of accuracy because these prediction markets usually do. But right now, there's been a lot of push. But I think it's going to be Bass and Pratt. Bass is not going to get the 50.1 she needs. Remember, if Karen Bass gets 50.1 tomorrow, Pat, this is over. We're done. Correct. There's no November election.
So meaning if Rahman gets out of it, it isn't over. It's done.
Yeah, well, Rahman can't get out now because tomorrow's the election, June 2nd. Yeah. So tomorrow, if Bass got...
Even today, if she wanted to get out, she couldn't get out.
Well, if she would have to go everywhere today screaming, don't vote for me, vote for Karen Bass. And somehow she would have to get that message all the way around.
Too late for that.
Too late.
Yep. Okay.
So Bass
then that means the campaign manager for Pratt is Rahman. Indirectly. Rahman campaigns for Spencer Pratt.
Yep. And now the question is right here, Public Sentiment Institute is pointing out, where do Miller and Huang go? There's 15 points that are out there, and there's 12 points that are undecided. This summer is going to come down to Bass and Pratt and Los Angelinos deciding who they want.
Well, let me tell you what Spencer Pratt's endorsements are, and then, Adam, I'll come to you.
Yep.
You got Rogan, Carolla, Dennis Quaid, Paris Hilton allegedly backed him on April 24th, promoted Spencer for mayor, James Woods, Billy Bush, Meghan McCain. You got Christine Cavallari. You got Brody Jenner. You got Amber Rose. But then there's a part of it that's Jamie Kennedy. And then he said in an interview that Leonardo DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx, he claimed in an interview with US Weekly that actor DiCaprio and Jamie Foxx privately expressed support for his campaign during that interview with US Weekly. So whether he's telling the truth or not, and then Jimmy Kimmel came out and criticized him. Rob, I don't know if you have this clip with Kimmel. There's a clip of Kimmel criticizing Spencer Pratt. Go forward.
City is a mess. That is something that became especially obvious during the fires. But the people running the city, when you say this place is a mess, they go, no, actually it isn't. We're doing a lot. And then we look around and go, I'm not seeing it. And then they go, oh, it's there. Things are looking up. And this makes the people who live here upset, especially people whose homes and neighborhoods burned down and are trying to run businesses with people who need help sleeping in front of the door of their restaurants because they have nowhere else to go. They're frustrated because nothing seems to change. So then you get a guy who was on a reality show, who's on a lot of reality shows. His profession is to be the screaming jerk on reality shows. And his house burns down. And even though he had no private insurance on his house and doesn't believe in climate change, he is understandably upset about his house burning down. And since he's a moderately famous person, he gets attention. He's on the news, he's on social media, and for the first time in his life, people are agreeing with what he has to say.
This is skillful undermining.
With what he has to say. He's angry about the same problems a lot of people here are angry about. Does he have solutions to those problems? No. And yet he's polling in second place. And if he's one of the top 2 candidates after the primary next Tuesday, a week from tonight, he will be one of our 2 choices for mayor of Los Angeles.
Right, you know what's funny about him? Corolla just got his, what do you call it? A star, right? And he gets up there and he gives a speech. He says, even though we disagree politically, I am so happy for Adam Carolla. Because if you notice, Carolla endorsed for Spencer Pratt. He did not. So it's an interesting speech he's given here. Just first 10 seconds will tell you, Rob. Go ahead.
Adam and I, as you probably know, don't agree much when it comes to politics, but I love him dearly. I've never worked with anyone funnier. I am proud of him.
You can pause it right there.
Pat, you know what's crazy?
What?
Like that, his head writer on that show, it's supposed to become a comedy, like, it's his wife. Whatever you're hearing, his head writer is his wife. He's the type of guy that when the wife's talking, his head is just down.
But wait, what he just did.
His wife is 100% writing his stuff. That she's the head writer of this show. And notice the audience is just like, there's no emotion, there's no nothing. It feels like he's just under a spell, Pat. I'd rather be stuck on that freaking roller coaster upside down than listen to that.
No, I'll give you that.
And you know me, I have vertigo.
I'll give you that, but that looked kind of authentic.
Bold, right?
No, not
talking about his friend's
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his monologue.
I get it. I said I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you that on his show and all the trash that comes out of his mouth on the show.
Oh, that's that's authentic because that's his friend. She's not writing that. She's not the head writer of his life.
Well, if Jimmy Kimmel wanted to get ratings, you know what he should do?
What?
Have Spencer Pratt on the show, buddy. Spencer Pratt's making his rounds. He was just on Bill Maher, he's on Gutfeld. I know you guys have been discussing things. Trump kind of weighed in on the election. And what did Spencer Pratt say? I'm good. I don't need an endorsement.
Good.
Now, why would you say something like that? Because if this were more of a national election, of course you want Trump's endorsement. But this is a local election. But this election has taken shape of a different monster because we're talking about this guy as the lead story on the show. So I think, in essence, anyone that's solving for common sense and wants some change in LA would want Pratt. Here's my opinion. I think there's going to be a runoff between Bass and Pratt. And I think Pratt is going to win. That's my opinion. Good. What's it going to look like if Karen Bass gets into a runoff with the ramen noodle lady? So you're just going to have a socialist progressive basically debating a Marxist communist. Yep. Let me know how that's going to work out for you guys, LA. That's something we're looking for because Karen Bass is doing the whole nothing to see here, everything's fine. Let's just keep it going, keep the good times rolling. Ramen is basically like, I'm a communist, let's burn it all down and start over. Whereas Pratt is basically anti-establishment, which would be common sense in LA at this point, and just says we just need some new, level-headed, common sense experience. And then here's the final point. Do you know who's voting for Pratt if he wins? If Pratt wins, do you know who's going to vote for him? All the Democrats. Women Democrats, mother Democrats. He says he doesn't even know a Republican in LA. He said that, his words. He said his sister is the most progressive Democrat he knows, and she's voting for him, obviously. So all his friends, all Hollywood, all the Hollywood elite reality stars, Democrats who are basically saying, let's vote for Pratt, and I hope they do.
Here's the part, guys. If you're from LA and you want things to change, you want to contribute towards the change, get out there and vote. And not only that, get your friends to go out there and vote as well. Mm-hmm. Get your family, get everybody to go out there and vote. This is where you can actually make an impact locally. If you want to see change, go support and contribute to what Spencer Pratt is doing in LA. It would be an incredible story going into 2028. You know what would happen after 2026 if Pratt wins LA mayoral race? You know what would happen? The cover of Time magazine will have Mayor of LA, Pratt, going against Mayor of New York City, Mamdani.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be an incredible spectacle of who can clean up the streets better, who can make which street better. Trust me, as a case study, we all want to see this thing here. Mm-hmm. two hardcore liberal cities that one side goes the Mamdani side, the other side goes the Spencer Pratt side. It'd be a great case study for everybody to watch nationwide. With that being said, let me get into the next story. The next story is kind of weird. It's a story about Pezeshkian, who is the president of Iran, comes out and says, I'm resigning. And so we saw this all over the place, that he is resigning. Iran's president offers resignation, citing total takeover by IRGC commanders, which is kind of weird. So then when you're reading this story, Rob, I think you may have a clip on this. When you're reading this story, you see some people coming out and saying, no, it's not true. He never sent it. And I think even he sends out a tweet, Rob, if I'm not mistaken. Is this him?
This is a video clip that the Iranian state media is saying is the denial that he's resigning.
Go ahead.
We are ready for any hardship. We are ready to sacrifice our lives, our existence for this revolution and the people of our country.
This is him.
But in any case, this is something we must all help each other with and walk this path together. We must prepare ourselves for this. And our dear people must also be aware of this matter and help out.
Rob, this
is what I expect from the national broadcaster as well.
So this came out last night, and this is what the Iranian state media is claiming is his denial. I listened to the clip. He doesn't say it anywhere in here.
I didn't see the denial.
But this is what they're stating.
They're saying that this is his denial. No, I'm not going to put this as a denial. I'll read this to you. You know, this article here from the Iran International says that he submitted his letter of resignation. In the letter sent on Sunday, Pezeshkian stressed the fact that the president and the government have effectively been excluded from major and vital decision-making process in the country, and that the vacuum created by the situation has enabled hardline factions within the IRGC to take control of affairs. Pezeshkian added that under such circumstances, he is unable to run the government and carry out his legal responsibilities, and he requested to be out immediately. It is not yet clear whether Khamenei will accept the resignation, but the contents of the letter point to a deep and unprecedented rift at the highest levels of power. So if this is true, I have some thoughts on this myself, on how this can end up. Tom, if this is true, what does this really mean if it is true?
Well, when we all saw the headline, I had no reaction. I was like, well, of course, the hardliners and IRGC are really calling the shots. And, you know, Trump and the world had been saying it's hard to negotiate because the government was split. We had heard all that, right, Pat? I mean, that's what we heard,
Yep.
Everything. So when I first heard this, it seemed like, wow. So as a legitimate government off to the side, finally just thrown in the towel and said, I resign. So it seemed normal, not normal, but it seemed like, oh, okay, very believable. However, if this is true and this is what's going on, and the IRGC and the hardliners are really in charge, then I think this is kind of worse than where it started. Because for the people that have been protesting, this is bad. Because it means if IRGC is in the point of ultimate power, Pat, I think this is really bad for them. The markets aren't liking what came in this morning. Oil popped.
But I think this is a reaction to Lebanon, Israel. I don't think that's the reaction to Pezeshkian. I think that's which we'll get into that here momentarily as well. I think the main reaction to this, what the market is saying, is due to the attacks that are taking place between Lebanon and Israel. No?
Well, I think it's both. Because I think Lebanon, Israel is the second front that Israel is fighting, right? Israel is with us, and we are fighting here, but it's a second front. I see it as the same conflict.
Yeah. So then the question, Adam, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I'm going to reverse course here. I don't want to do a deal with Iran. They're never going to honor any deal. Did you hear what the gay Ayatollah, whatever you want to call this guy that I haven't seen, did you hear what he had to say over the weekend?
No, what did he say?
Doubling down on everything they've always done. Death to America, death to Israel. This is quote unquote. This will be the common slogan of the Islamic nation and the revolution. They're still doing the revolution, and the oppressed people of all over the world, especially youth. The future belongs to the Islamic nation, the IRGC, and the new Islamic civilization, and each of us can play a role in realizing this future together. Does this sound like somebody who wants to cut a deal? And if Pezeshkian, the president, we all know the president doesn't really have any power. The Ayatollah, the supreme leader, has power. As much as I think it's going to get ugly, we've already done what we needed to do with epic fury, economic fury. Trump has been very clear that he doesn't necessarily care about midterms, so to speak. I think they may even get into another hot war over this. And we've already done the hard part, whether it's economically, whether it's militarily. We need to finish the job with these people.
I mean, but what's finishing the job?
Let me put it to you this way. So here's what I want to think about. Let's go be in the room, the situation room of IRGC. Let's be in that room.
Okay.
Okay. If you're in the situation room of IRGC, what are you saying? Khamenei's in there, Pezeshkian is not in there. It's only people that are pro-IRGC people that are in that room, okay? What are you telling each other? What are you telling each other?
Number one,
hold the
it
line.
starts with Allah. Allah wants this. This is what Allah commands. We will do what Allah says. When Allah is the answer,
I understand
you
that.
can't
But what I'm
negotiate
saying to
about
you is,
that.
what do you do?
This is
What do you do?
if I'm them right now, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? First of all, we're winning technically because they can't. They're not going to come in and bomb us and kill all the civilians because they're going to look really, really bad.
Yeah.
We just have to hold the line.
Which means what?
Meaning, it seems to me like they're holding the cards because what can the United States do, Pat, to harm them right now?
You're in
Bomb
the
them?
room. You're in the room. What do you think is being sent out?
Well, based on what I see from the outside, I would assume, and just kind of doing game theory on here, they're sitting there with each other saying, we just need to wait it out and get a deal and get the deal that's a ceasefire and get the deal on Hormuz and then, get them to agree to negotiate the uranium and everything going forward. They're saying no. Every day that we make them wait, we're closer to just getting the war over and we'll negotiate all of that later. That's what we want. Every day we wait.
I fully agree with Tom on this. Tom is right. What does winning look like? They just have to survive. If they cut any deal, the deal is almost irrelevant. Because you think they're going to honor the deal? The whole Takia thing and just lying for the sake of winning?
So there is no.
So there's no
Well,
deal.
any deal with strong points is.
Okay, so the nuclear, the enriched uranium, the missiles, the proxies. To me, you would probably know this better than anybody. Chaos is their strategy. Delaying is their strategy. When you don't care about your own people, how do you end up cutting a deal that benefits your own people?
What do you think? I'm curious, Pat. What do you think? I want to know what their attitude is, and number two, what do you think that they're saying in that room right now?
Okay, so first you have to, like when you're running a company and you're going through a bad season financially, the first thing you have to sit there and talk about is finances. How much longer can we afford to go with XYZ? Okay, and finance person will say, we only have $6.8 million in the bank. Really? Yeah, how long can that last? 3 months. Okay, shit. So we got 3 months, yes. So the finance person is going to say, our revenue is depleted. Our oil revenue is depleted. We are down to nothing. How long can we last? Everybody in that room knows a number on how long that can last. So number one is, what is the lifespan of their money? If America has intel or Masoud has intel to find out that number, we control the whole thing. So assume if we know exactly what that number is, we control the whole thing. Number two is, say they do, and the people that are going to take a hit is going to be who? They're people. They don't care about that. They're fine with that. They're people taking a hit. They don't have a problem with that. If in this instance, Russia helps out, maybe China doesn't help out, but Russia helps out, but Russia's also depleted. They're also not killing it. It's not like they're having a great time right now with what's going on. Ukraine's making their life a living hell. In that situation, Ukraine is Iran. Okay, so Ukraine relates more to Iran and Russia relates more to, U.S., right? So, but in a way, Russia could be the little guy because NATO, U.S., everybody is helping out who? Ukraine. So I think if you bring in the Israel thing, if you really want to go to, Israel has control and they want this thing to continue and they want to create chaos, you know what they could do to create a lot of chaos? You know what could be the craziest thing Israel could do to create some chaos? How many people did they kill of the leaders? What were the number of people that killed on day one or day two, whatever it was?
Every day it was
50
somebody,
leaders, right? Yeah. But every day was like somebody new.
Yeah.
If they take out Pezeshkian, you can give credibility to the people to say Israel wants this thing to not end. They want it to continue. Why?
Yeah.
Because the moderate is willing to negotiate.
Yes.
And IRGC is not willing to negotiate. So if all of a sudden the next week you hear a story, Pezeshkian's been killed, there is credence to say, I get what they're doing.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand what I just said
100%.
right there, Tom. Are you kind of
No,
tracking
I'm
what saying?
tracking 100%.
So I would not be surprised if the moderates get killed to force the president to have to say, are we really going to negotiate with terrorists, IRGC, or no? That is one place of totally being cornered, because while this is going on, Rob, you have the story with Israel, and you know what happened over the weekend with U.S. Says it struck Iranian drone and a radar site as Iran claims attack on airbase. I don't know if you have that one or not. It says you have a clip on that. So there's a few things that happened. There's a few things that happened over the weekend, with that being one of them, and the other one being the whole Lebanon. Where's the Lebanon story, Rob, that we have? Let me see this.
I don't believe that's in the press.
Oh, okay. This is the drone shooting down. Go ahead, Rob.
New tensions in the Middle East. U.S. Central Command announcing it conducted self-defense strikes inside Iran over the weekend, targeting radar and drone sites. CENTCOM says the U.S. strikes were in response to what it called aggressive Iranian actions, which included the shooting down of a U.S. drone over international waters. Iran claims it responded by targeting the airbase where the U.S. attack originated. Missile activity was being monitored in Kuwait. All this coming after President Trump suggested a peace deal with Iran was in reach.
We're close to a very good deal. It says we will not develop or in any way purchase a military weapon. That's a big difference.
The president insists
you can pause
the
it
deal
right there. So over the weekend, Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel from Lebanon. Israel responded with expanded military operations. Bibi ordered renewed strikes on Hezbollah targets, which they captured the castle. Rob, do you have the video of the castle with the Israeli flag at the top? Just go on YouTube, type in the castle, Israel flag castle. Did you guys see this? So they say they captured the castle and they put up the Israel flag at the top of the castle in Lebanon. And this is an 889-year-old castle. What's the name of it? Bo something? I want to say the castle's name correctly if you want to pull it up. No, it's called something else. Beaufort. Yeah, Beaufort Castle, 889 years old. So Israel puts the flag up. That's a statement, okay, on what you just did. Rob, if you want to go to the Beaufort Castle, it's got rich history to it. It's on top of a rock, on top of a mountain. Go to it. Yeah, Beaufort Castle. So they took it over. Obviously, it's not the kind of castle where you're going to go have foie gras and steak and, it's a different kind of a castle meaning. It's just got rich history to it, right? So they had their back and forth. Israel captured Israel captured a major strategic position, which is the Beaufort Castle. Ceasefire talks appear to be faltering between the two. So think of everyone's motives. IRGC's motives versus Pezeshkian's motives versus Israel's motive versus U.S.'s motives versus the world's motives. If you want to go one by one, let's do it. Number one, IRGC's motives. They could give a shit. Their loyalty is to their Allah, and their loyalty is to what they believe in and the supreme leader. They could care less about your pain. They could care less about the world economy. They could care less about Strait of Hormuz. They could care less about any of that stuff. Pezeshkian, what's his motive? He wants diplomacy. He wants to see a deal being done. He is a moderate. He would like something to happen, which, by the way, believe it or not, that guy's got a target on his back by two different people. You know who?
His own side?
IRGC and Israel.
Yeah.
Because if Israel notices Trump's going to extend this, they have to get rid of Pezeshkian. So Pezeshkian has to be gone one way or another. If Israel's motive, if Bibi's legacy goes that Iran got stronger with IRGC, that's not a good look for his legacy.
At all.
U.S. is about what? Where is Trump at right now? We need the economy back down. We need gas prices back down to be in the high 60s, high 70s to be, high 70s to be fine where we are. Economy needs to be opened up. The world is like, we got to get this shit to be done because we want it to be done. But the Gulf states don't want IRGC. It's such a complicated mess right now. But if you can find out how much money they have and what their run rate is and what their pain is, if Mossad or the CIA can get into their situation room, which is probably going to be in some kind of a bunker, and hear what their biggest pain is, now you have a situation there. So for me, I think there could be a lot of moving parts, a lot of different things happening, but that's what I think is going on right now with Iran, Israel, and U.S. That's where my thoughts are. Okay, let's go to the next story. Next story I want to get into is, let's go into the story with, let me see which one I want to do here. Let's go into the story with the concert. Did you guys hear about this concert situation? So we have the 250-year campaign. I don't want to stay on this story for too long. I literally want to do less than 4 minutes, but I want to give you an update on it. So the concert's lineup originally, when they announced it, Rob, do you have the lineup originally of who was supposed to perform? Vanilla Ice. It was supposed to be Milli Vanilli, no joke, like Blame It on the Rain, you know. It was supposed to be him right there. Yeah, right there. Zoom in a little bit. So Milli Vanilli, and then that's Bret Michaels, which I believe Bret Michaels pulled out because of what he was talking about, the concerns, the risk that he
family.
has. The fear, family.
Lead singer of Poison back in the day.
Yeah, click on that one, Rob, that says who canceled. Yeah, Milli Vanilli, Vanilla Ice, Martina McBride, Young MC, CC Music Factory, the Commodores. Go a little bit higher. There's a few other names above it, Rob. Yeah, that's the one right there. Anyways, so all of a sudden, while this is supposed to be taking place, Flo Rida, Bret Michaels, you have all these names. They come out and they say, well, the president's going to give a 90-minute speech. And then allegedly yesterday, they canceled the whole thing. And they said, no, we're not going to do a concert. It's just going to be a Trump rally event. And they canceled all this stuff. Is this it, Rob, that he's talking about?
This is Doug Burgum yesterday, yes.
Okay, go for it.
The Great American State Fair running 15 days here on the Mall. Starting in late June and going through July 10th, is a celebration of all 50 states and all territories. There is a planned event for the opening of that, and of course, with a smile on my face, I can't wade into the politics of musicians because, some musicians want to play music for everybody, and some musicians seem to have segmented their audiences the same way politicians have. But this is Freedom 250, and the celebration of the 250 is a nonpartisan event. And I would encourage, everybody in America to get out, celebrate in your own way, celebrate in your own community.
So it got canceled?
And if you're here, over those 15 days,
Rob,
you get a
is he
chance
saying
to
it got
see the
canceled or
amazing
no?
He was just saying it's a representation of all 50 states. So no matter where you're at politically, you should be able to celebrate.
Yeah, but it got canceled. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it got canceled. The storyline talks about it getting canceled. What page is it on? Page 12 and 13. Yeah, Bret Michaels pulled out. What, Adam, what did Bret Michaels say is the reason why he's stepping out of it?
What did Bret Michaels say?
Yeah, you shared earlier why they're stepping out of it.
Trump said...
Bret Michaels was having, apparently, he talked about, I'm having threats outside of this. I'm not worried about the security there. He was saying, I'm worried about my safety out here and my family, and I got all these people that are around me calling me, putting pressure on this. Look, this is getting a little too hot. And I'm paraphrasing what he said. I got to back out. So he was not negative on Trump. He was just like, this is getting really hot. And this, I got threats against my family here. What am I supposed to do?
Well, Trump said that people are getting the yips. You know what the yips are? You ever heard of the yips?
Tell us.
Like in baseball, when you can't throw the ball to first base when you get the ball, like the second, Chuck Knobloch, I think he had that problem.
Yep.
Like a golfer can't make a putt. They're basically saying that these singers are getting the yips. And it's basically like it's a sudden loss of the ability to do a performance you've done 1,000 times. But Tom, I need your help on this one. Your greatest rapper, your number one rapper of all time, is canceling. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Young MC.
Young MC. This is your number one rapper of all time. This is the one rap you always do. Tom, if you would just give us a little second, maybe a little prayer, maybe even a little rap.
No.
Just say, Tom, this is your thing.
Okay, so he got canceled. What else? But seriously, what else happened here?
Well, first of all, Pat, just art lineup-wise, I'm not that impressed. Like Kid Rock, it's like how many? I'm not saying Kid Rock is on this one, but just the like Milli Vanilli. Well, they're the.
You know who they should have had? You know who they should have had? They should have gone, spent some of the money, bring Morgan Wallen.
Yes.
Bring some of the guys that would perform. Bring Ludacris. Mix it up. Bring everybody. We were going to do something here. And the only reason we didn't end up doing something here is because of my, torn ACL that we have. Well, we're going to do something here. Mm-hmm. We talked to the city about doing a Future Looks Bright concert here. We were talking to, anyways, we were talking about a couple major country singers. We were talking about potentially having like a Ludacris here. Because you want to mix it, bring the hip-hop audience. If it's about America, bring everybody. So I thought this was a miss, and now the president's going to be speaking. I don't know who managed this event. I don't know who was behind it. I don't know who was the project manager. They have so many different things that's going on. So I don't know who was doing this. This is actually not a good look. I think it was a bit of a cluster. I don't think it was organized well. And the last thing you need going into 250 is for stuff like this to happen. Like this needed to be organized. You know what this means? Let me tell you what this means. This is a byproduct. So imagine you're going through your day and you're talking to Iran, you're talking to Russia, you're talking to this, you're talking to Bibi, you're talking to Israel, you're talking, hey, Mr. President, 250, yeah, you guys, you're talking.
Yes,
That's not even like a top 10 issue for him, top 20 issue for him. And you're doing the UFC, and you're doing the 250, and you have the World Cup security. And so I just think they were bogged down with so many different projects that was going down that this project took a hit. That's what I think happened here.
And it doesn't help.
This event.
And it doesn't help that when that poll came out, I think 2 weeks ago, that political violence is justified way more percentage-wise on the left than conservatives. And you know what it is? When you're calling a guy Hitler all the freaking time, when you're saying like people are threatened, the guy's worried about his family. It's not about the singing. It's about the backlash he's going to get from people, from fans.
Those are two different things, though. Right. Those are two different things, Vinny. Because I think if you are doing a 250, you know what's the next one that's going to matter the most after 250? 500.
Yeah.
Not 300, not 350, not 400, not 450. It's 500.
Yeah, we're all going to be dead.
Yeah, we're not going to be here, right? If you're here, tell me about what you're taking. So I want to know about it, right?
Yeah.
So the point
Peptides.
is this was a hit that they took.
Well, the left, let's give the left credit for one thing. The one thing they do better than the right is arts and entertainment. They have the singers, they have the musicians. That's what they do. They have Hollywood. They have that. So it would have been great if some people in Hollywood say, listen, for the 250th birthday for my country, this isn't Trump's country, it's not Obama's country, it's my country and I want to be a part of it. That would be taking the high road. But everyone here in our political polarized world right now, Beyonce's not showing up, Megan Thee Stallion's not showing up.
Megan Thee Stallion's not going to tour.
No, what I'm saying is these people would never do this under a Trump administration.
If the president was a leftist president, this would have been the most ridiculous concert of all time.
Exactly.
Because they're freer. Okay, not freer, because they're liberals. They would have supported him, and everybody else is afraid.
You're saying they won't get canceled by going and performing for Trump?
I don't even know if I put that there, because I do think if you cut a check, these people show up. They don't give a shit. They're like, you pay them money. Beyonce went and performed in, I don't know what it was, Qatar or Saudi for $15 million. If there's a check, they'll show up. I think they could have put a budget behind it, and people would have shown up to perform the concert.
I think she's more likely to go get a $15 million check from Saudi than Trump.
Next story I want to get to is what happened with France. Okay, so France, PSG wins the whole thing. And everybody in, France is like, this is going to get bad. We got to be careful with this whole thing that's going on. Well, guess what? It was even worse than what they expected. 780 arrests in France after PSG Champions League win, which was massive. And people were worried for their lives. They were concerned about what was going to happen. And some of the messaging, if you watch this, Rob, just play a few of the clips. Go ahead, Rob. By the way, what's that clip with the fire you just had right there, Rob? Okay.
Dude, look at
that is not the Middle East, Rob. Where is this?
That's Paris.
Wow.
That's Paris for you.
Yeah.
That's not Iran. That's not Gaza.
Look at what the hell is going on.
Okay. After the win.
They won, by the way.
Look what they're doing to cars. Imagine if they would have lost. So this is celebrating victories. This is France for you folks. And who do you think is doing this? You think the OG French people that were, from France, they're French men and women, you think they're doing this?
Pierre and Jean-Jacques.
No, that's not who's doing it. By the way, go to some of the videos to say we were able to do more in 3 hours than they could do
where's that
to
guy?
take over, Germany could do over in 1940s. I don't know if you have
that
that
going up a little bit.
not.
Yeah. Keep going. Right there. This is African migrants. African migrants saying, like, look at what he's saying. Look. Algerians.
Go back a little bit, Rob.
Look at this. We have Algerians, Tunisians, Moroccans, Senegalese. Look, Marine. We have managed to take over Paris even faster than Germany army in 1940. It took us 3 hours.
Just 3 hours.
They're letting you know what's up.
Yeah, and so if you go to the clip, Rob, with the Eiffel Tower being behind it, I don't know if you have that one or not. Watch this. Okay.
What is burning? What? Yeah. Jean-Pierre looks like he's at
Looks like the French Revolution.
What did Macron say about this, Rob?
Macron was not happy at all, Rob. If you find that clip, he was almost like, he's like, never again. We are done. He was, and by the way, the whole PSG team is behind him, Rob, and he's schooling the fans, and he's saying how disgusting and how horrible of an act it was that what he was doing. Keep going down, Robbie. He's doing the speech. I think that's it right there.
Le coach et le staff.
They don't have the subtitles on this one. Keep going down. Where is it? Is that it? No, that's not it.
That's English,
He's bashing the fans, though. He was bashing the fans.
Macron was bashing the fans.
He said, never again. This is not going to happen again. He was pissed. But he did it with a French accent, so it was kind of cool. I'll find it. I'll send it to Rob.
And then, Rob, if you can go pull up Dominic Tarzinski. Oh, by the way, these are two girls in the car. Look at these guys. How much they're panicking. Can you imagine? Like, what are you doing? My daughter called me and says, Dad, this is that. Put your foot on the gas pedal and drive through everybody if they're doing that to you. If they're risking your lives. And then this is Dominic Tarzinski saying, this is how the Polish celebrate when they win. Watch this.
Go ahead, Rob.
Rob, if you want to play this. That's pretty sick to see that. Okay, Vinny, what do you think?
And I'll just tell you, Pat, Macron said, it's not football, it's not sport, this is not what we like. We don't want to see this anymore. We are fed up. We are done. Because, Bob, I don't think this one has the subtitles. But I just, like, what do you expect, Pat? When you let a bunch of people from countries that don't give a damn about the country that they're in, this is what's going to happen. And by the way, I hope America has their stuff together security-wise for the World Cup, because by the way, PSG is a club team. Imagine what happens when it's national teams, national pride, political tensions, alcohol, and millions of people's in our streets. I hope that they're prepping for this. I really, really hope so. And by the way, New York as well with the Knicks. New York, this is just a precursor of what's going to happen, okay? And by the way, I'm not being far-fetched. We let how many million people in here for the past 4 years? 20 million, 5 million freaking gotaways that nobody knows, not ID, not vetted, not nothing. They're going to be here. I'm just saying it's a warning for what could happen here. But what you guys won, I don't understand. And mind you, didn't they, Pat, they had it somewhere else. In Brussels, I think Umberto said he didn't want to have it in France because of this. Because of this is why he had it somewhere else. They had the finals there, and look what they still do. But, you know, you import the third world, this is what you get. Plain and simple.
Tom.
Well, words talk, numbers scream, but words are talking, and there's some numbers behind it from the United States State Department. Rob, I just sent you a link. If you could bring that up, I just texted it to you right there. Interesting. You would think that UK and France, allies of us for a long time, would be the safest, and the State Department would be giving you information. But no, France, the UK, and Germany and Spain are all level 2. Exercise increased caution. Pat, do you know what Poland is? Level 1. Exercise normal precautions when travel. Take a look at Eastern and Western Europe.
Italy.
Now, this ignores Ukraine. The blue areas where the State Department says Americans can travel there and we're not seeing issues. But take a look at Western Europe where you've imported all these people and you brought all this stuff in. They're saying there's extra caution required. And by the way, take a look at level 2 with a asterisk. That's Turkey. You know, so you've got all of this stuff going on. And yet Poland, Dominic Tarzinski, Greece, and the Eastern Europe have been tougher. Then you look at Western Europe and Paris, what you just saw there. When would we have thought in our lifetimes that we would see the UK and France, and who we fought with in World War II, be represented by our own government as saying, you know, guys, that's a higher security risk going there than going to Poland and maybe seeing and paying your respects at, Holocaust sites, going there and laying flowers and remembering the things that happened there. You're safer going to Poland, and what you saw there, maybe having a beer, toasting them, and jumping up and down in the city square. Oh my gosh, they're so happy for their team, than you are in Western Europe.
Adam.
This looks to me like the French equivalent of the BLM riots in 2020. And you know who's to blame? Macron. Macron has the audacity to be like, I can't believe this is what's going on. Sir, how did these guys end up here? How did these people end up in your country? And you know, I've been studying for some reason the French Revolution recently, because the great Victor David Hanson has been calling the modern left in America the Jacobin Party. Have you heard any of this? The Jacobins, when the French Revolution happened shortly after the American Revolution, the Jacobin Party started off as normal Democrats. Hey guys, we need to do good things. But then the extremists took over. Then the radicals took over. And what did they call it in France in the French Revolution? They called it the Reign of Terror. You ever hear the guillotine?
Yes.
Where they're chopping people's heads off. Maximilien Robespierre chopping people's heads off. And all of a sudden people are like, yeah, you were about life and liberty. Now you're chopping people's heads off that don't agree with you. Open borders, which basically led to an extremist revolution, the Jacobins taking over, which ended up leading to Napoleon, and then everything happened with Waterloo. But the point is this: when you let the extremists and the radicals take over your country, like Macron has done, this Islamic, Marxist group that they're putting together, this is what's going to happen. So on a day that you win a championship, by the way, you beat Arsenal. Arsenal hasn't won in decades now, it seems. It's sort of those things that that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. All these good people that want to do good things, but don't want to do the tough job of actually cleaning up their city or their country, this is what you get, riots.
Hey, by the way, when you look at numbers, actual numbers of what happened outside of the 780 arrests that took place yesterday, 1 died, 1 is confirmed fatality, cities affected 15. Do you know how many cops were deployed nationwide for this whole spectacle? 22,000 cops were deployed nationwide. 22,000 cops.
With no guns, huh? They just yell at
57
people.
cops injured. Serious injuries, 8. Injured civilians, 219. People formally taken into custody, 457. Arrests alone in Paris out of the 780 is 480. So the main city was Paris. A 24-year-old man died in a motorcycle scooter crash during the chaos. 17-year-old was reportedly left in critical condition after a stabbing. Now, who would be stabbing? And Macron condemned the violence and said these responsibilities, said those responsible would face consequences. Really? You know, a part of it is making sure your people feel safe. And obviously the people didn't feel safe, and there was a lot of madness going on.
The stabbing guy survived?
Well, the stabbing guy survived, but
Good
he was
thing
still
the British
stabbed.
police weren't there.
And
Yeah.
by the way, imagine if they lost. This is what happens when they win.
God. Forget it.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
And here's the saddest thing. They weren't caught off guard on this. This didn't happen out of the blue.
They
were
moved it
they were
somewhere.
preparing for this.
Yeah.
They were boarding up windows. They were basically preparing, just like BLM riots. That's why I said it's the French
Let's go to the
equivalent
next
of
story.
BLM.
So Bill Gates plotted to look like Mr. Rogers using customized mannequin to test boring potential outfits. And this is a New York Post story?
It was a New York Times magazine.
New York Times Magazine. Is it a New York Times Magazine that New York
Story.
Post reported on?
Yeah.
Let me get to this
Go
here.
ahead.
So billionaire Bill Gates devoted a great deal of time and money to try to make himself look kind of approachable as TV Mr. Rogers, with his team even using a custom-sized mannequin to test out boring potential outfits. Gates' team told away on crafting the nerdy image he's known for today to make the 7-year-old tech mogul appear as a benevolent man focused on helping the world. Current and former employees told the Wall Street Journal. To that end, his stylist tested outfits for different days of the week on the custom mannequin, with the team having access to troves of neutral tone crew and V-neck sweaters, button-down shirts, slacks, and extra pairs of the silver lining opticians, carbon glasses at an off-site building. The Journal said the outfit was specifically picked for Gates to wear during public events, with his employees reportedly sending the billionaire staff 3 options to choose from: carefully selected wardrobe, common approachable like Fred Rogers. So Vinny, what is the big deal of the story? Tell me the big deal of the story.
Because I'm thinking about, imagine you have a team, okay, approving outfits. And even they did a Netflix documentary. They asked producers to edit out moments because he didn't look good in them, Pat. And then you have internal emails that are selling how successful the campaign is. Because remember, I used to make fun, besides his voice, because I'm a comedian, I make fun of his voice. That whole light sweater vest with, you know, the collar underneath. It's like diffusing. You seem like you're a really nice guy, and they have a mannequin that's dressing up. And then now you're thinking about it, all the stuff that we find out about Epstein, all the stuff about the stuff with his wife, all the stuff that his wife was like, oh my God, his relationship with Epstein is why I one of the main reasons why I left him. Like, it's insane to me. You're lecturing the world about vaccines, about COVID, about climate change, about food systems and AI and how humanity should live, and then also complaining that there's too many of us. Meaning there's too many human beings. A lot of us should die. And then you're promoting the stuff that actually kills people. It's insane. But then they dress you up like Mr. Rogers to emotionally calm, like make you look like you're calm. At least when it comes to like Dr. Evil, at least Dr. Evil, we knew what we were dealing with, okay? And that's why look at that, Pat. That's how he should be dressing. That's exactly how, in my opinion, Bill Gates needs to dress, so we know where you're coming from. The fact that they had to dress him up to diffuse what he was actually doing is not only, it's funny, but it's scary at the same time, Pat. That's your image. Your image is what? Make me look cool. Make me look like a nice, cool guy when I'm trying to destroy humanity.
I'm trying to find out, again, this is what I'm trying to find out, because I want to know what's wrong with that. Like, Tom has changed his image. Can you focus on Tom real quick? Can you put the camera on Tom? Like, how great does Tom look? Be honest.
To be honest with you, that tie, that tie says a lot.
The suit,
and
the
knows
French
he drinks
cuff.
coffee.
Right. So, but look how Tom looks. If you go back, look at some of the stuff from 3 years ago versus today, or 10 years ago versus today. Yeah. Tom looking money. Stefano Ricci got a hold of him and changed his image up. If you go to Bezos, what does Bezos look like? If you go today's Bezos. Do Bezos before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you go to Bezos, top left, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
so
look at Elon before and after.
It's not much of a difference. But
no.
Bezos,
before he got his little hair transplant?
So this is Bezos before. Look what he looks like. Everything he's wearing on the left looks like Brooks Brothers.
Yes.
Okay? And now look at the right. Do you think he got help from somebody? Let's go to another one, Rob. If you look at those biceps look pretty good. No, just stay on this. Just go to a different image. That one right there. Second one if you can.
Boom.
Yeah, look at this one. All right? That one, he's got a jacket on. The guy on the right looks like a stud. Okay, go to the third one, Rob, that you have. Look at the jacked biceps and triceps. He looks like a football coach. Okay? And then the one on the left, he's just getting started. Then go to the one holding the book down with Amazon. Look at this. He's holding the book, Your Next 5 Moves. Smart guy on what book he's reading. But look at the guy on the right. Okay, you got the veins popping out. The guy looks like a professional sports owner's, team owner. So a part of me for this is nerds as they grow up, like a Gates or a Bezos, they want to find a way to be cool.
I agree.
Cool people, when they grow up in high school, they want to find a way to get rich, because typically the kids in school that were popular, they end up becoming broke.
100%.
Okay, most of them. Not all of them, some of them, right? And so this is the thing to go through. I think the one on the left is probably fake, because those cheeks are a little bit too cheeky.
Yeah.
But the one on the right is probably not fake. That's probably exactly what it looks like today. So there's nothing wrong with recreating yourself and, recreating yourself and putting that. But Mr. Rogers, why Mr. Rogers?
Because Mr. Rogers, Pat, made people feel safe.
Trusting, is that what it is?
Yeah, because think about it. This friendly genius look that he's trying to push, and it was, why they said, Pat? So that the public would trust him. Tom is a businessman. He's a president. He's doing good time because he wants to look professional. You're trying to look good so people trust you, but you're my opinion, because you're that guy.
I'm gonna wear a Mr. Rogers outfit next time.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. You know what? Okay, so take a look.
You take your Future Brights off.
Look at that right there, what he's wearing. Rob, can you send that to me, Rob?
Yeah.
Can you send that to me for me to get that exact outfit? But you know what it is? Maybe it's because I never watched Mr. Rogers, because I came here at 12, 1990.
You missed that whole
But I watched Mr. Abbas in Iran.
Did you really?
I had a Mr. Abbas, and Mr. Abbas was hairy, facial hair, sweaty, no deodorant. You can smell him through the TV with 2 channels that we had in Iran.
Where is he?
No, he's not going to be around right now. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lesson here for most men, actually, because I see guys move here from Silicon Valley to LA, from California, LA, San Francisco to Miami, and they're basically evading taxes. We all know what's going on there, and they're total nerds. But you know what these nerds got? Money. They have millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars. But you know what happens? They come here and they try to be cool. For the first time in their life, they had a big exit. They've made 10 million, 100 million, whatever it is. And the women of Miami, or women in general, smell it on them. They're like, this guy has no clue what he's doing. Can you buy me a bag? Sure, honey. Can you take me out for dinner? Sure, honey. And what happens is these guys basically don't have swag, end up basically lose their money. What's the whole phrase from back in the day? The man with experience meets the man with money, or the man with the money meets a man with experience. The man with money leaves with experience. The man with experience leaves with the money. That's what's going to happen here. So everyone should go through this recreation. All these nerds, these people who are building companies who have never been cool, have never had looks or personality, all of a sudden they're lacking that.
Yeah.
So they need to improve that. Like PBD said, the people who used to be cool maybe never had money. So in anything in life, you have to be a triple threat. In anything. You have to have money, especially if you're a man. You have to have a good personality or game, as they say. And you need to actually look good and carry yourself good. Triple threat of a man of status. So where you're lacking in that, you will be exposed.
Well, I think having Christ, number one, is the first attribute you have to have. That's number one. But number two, Adam, the point I'm making with this is he knows who he is. He knows about the Epstein stuff. He knows that allegedly what he did against his wife and was asking Epstein for STD medication because he secretly, allegedly gave it to his wife. Hold on. He's pushing, warning everybody of pandemics. And then you're pushing a vaccine that's not freaking safe. And then you're telling your team, make me look like Mr. Rogers so I look safe to them. That to me is a whole different story.
Who else do you think he was going to look like? If he's like, make me look like Axl Rose or Justin Bieber.
That I believe
they're like, who could he possibly look like?
Dressed like Dr.
Buddy,
Evil.
the only thing you're going to pull off right here
Dressed like Dr.
is
Evil,
Dr.
Yeah.
Well, you have a thing for Bill Gates and you think that he's evil, and I get it. There's a lot of people who agree with you.
Well,
I'm just saying, if you're his image consultant,
facts
if
are there.
you're his image consultant and you're worth billions of dollars, you're going to be like, listen, your new look is Mr. Rogers. Good luck. He's a horny, creepy old man. That's what he is.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so
he's worth billions of
Let's
dollars.
go to the next one here. AI data centers. Check this out. So CEO of Cerebros comes out and says, as AI as an industry has done a terrible job of selling data centers, and we ought to pay our own way. Here he is. Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, this is Kevin O'Leary.
Oh, no. Cerebros CEO. Do you have that one or no?
Kevin O'Leary looking cool.
So let me play this, and then let me read this, and Rob, and then maybe we'll play that clip. So Andrew Feldman says the AI industry has done a poor job of selling data centers to the public. He has a different message in mind, modeled after Microsoft President Brad Smith. These can be clean. They can make jobs. They can be good for communities. He said at a 20VC podcast, we can do it thoughtfully. Feldman, fresh off the chipmakers blockbuster IPO, said AI companies need to be better neighbors when approaching communities where they plan to build massive facilities to house the thousands of advanced chips needed to power AI models. There's no reason why we can't add these to communities and have the community benefit from it. And we have to do some thinking. We all have heavy equipment out there. Build a football field for the local school, build a church or a synagogue to the community. We can be good neighbors at very, very low cost. Data centers need to be better stewards of local resources. Feldman said in some cases they try to pawn off costs on local community or use outdated financial arrangements that left the community holding the bag, which Tom is raising his hand because he wants to jump into the story. And in others, they were wasteful of resources. This is not cool, and none of this needs to be the case. Tom, it sounds like you agree with him.
I absolutely agree with him, and I thank you for standing up. So, you have this incredible IPO that goes out there. Cerberus goes out there, big IPO, everything going on, and then you have all the things going on. These folks have built data centers. They have one in Santa Clara, Stockton, Dallas, and Oklahoma City. Pat, Oklahoma City, in terms of speed, is one of the fastest data centers in the world. Not the fastest, but it's one of the fastest in the world. And he's got another one planned for Atlanta. So he knows what he's talking about. And he's also, I think, speaking to the rest of the industry. Now, was he speaking like this a year ago? I can't find quotes and things on this, but he's saying the right thing today, and I hope that this is what he has believed. I could go back and read the S1 from the IPO and go see if this is what they were talking about. But when he talks about outdated financial agreements, that's like the bad sports stadiums. We were talking last week about sports stadiums, Pat, right? Where the cities get all excited and they put a bond out there, which the people got to pay the interest on, the taxpayers, and then they give them tax-free status, and then they promise to build, roads and get more access around it like Miami, and yet they got no new roads and no access in Miami, as you know, Adam, to the Marlins Stadium. And so people are trying to get down to Little Havana. It's always just a grind to get down there. Well, this guy's saying the right things, and I agree with him. And by the way, when he says, let's pay our own way on energy, let me code that for you. We want to put small nuke, modern technology, modern generation nuke reactors right next to our data centers and power them. And if I was the president, I've been saying this over and over again, I would say, give me the pen. I have the pen, give me the permits, and let's get these things signed so that we can, Department of Energy, EPA, everybody work together on this. Let's get this signed. Let's put them in there with one caveat. If tornadoes take out a lot of things locally and we need power backup, You turn down the power in your data center, flip the switch, and take your reactor and pump the power out to the public electric network. That's all I want you to do. I just want your permit comes with, in the event of civil emergency, usually weather in the Midwest, in this case, I want you to, it could be earthquakes. Santa Clara is in California, so Stockton. You do it. But I like this. I think this is where capitalism meets corporate stewardship, means responsibly community, member of community.
And he's a pretty direct interviewer. He doesn't hold back. He's tough. He's strong. He's built a company, Vinny, that's $60 to $100 billion, 1,000 employees. Their revenue last year was around $550 million in 2025. They're saying they could be a potential competitor of NVIDIA. They're probably in the same category as not OpenAI. OpenAI's got a revenue of $20 billion, $22 billion, give or take. They're making real revenue. These guys are at $500 million, but they're coming up. And he's a $3.5 billion guy. So he's a legit guy. Saying something like
they
this.
do have a product. It's called the WSE3, the Wafer Scale Engine 3 chip, and so they're out there competing with them.
So let's see what happens here.
Can I jump in on this? It kind of reminds me of your book, where you talk about you need to have logic and emotion. I think you talked about it in Choose Your Enemies Wisely, did you not? And here's what it is. In any business, you have two main core components. You have the product and you have the marketing. One can argue that the product here is necessary for America to succeed and our prosperity. AI, data, innovation, of course. But you need to sell that to the public. The public has kids and families and they want a nice community. And you need to do a better job of selling that, selling the dream, as you call it. You talk about, what is Mario Cuomo's famous quote? If the campaign in poetry, but then governed in prose. Sell this to the people with empathy.
That's what he's saying. That's his point. What's your point?
That's what I'm saying. They need to do a better job of that. Yeah. My point is this. AI is not going anywhere. The product is necessary. It's innovative. You think AI is going to help America? We need to compete with China. Just like Kevin O'Leary basically said, there's been a sort of a hit campaign from China and other foes of ours who don't want to see it done here. But both things need to be done, just like you said, when you're putting a business plan together. Use logic, use emotion, use authority, and use empathy.
All right, let's go.
And that's how you sell the dream.
There you go, folks. That was Adam. Had to put the final thoughts because, Adam.
Well, that was just my thoughts.
I understand that. But I was going to the next story, but
I'm sorry.
You wanted to give the
next story. I won't speak.
Yes. No, you can speak on the next story, but if it's a story I'm coming to you, speak on it. You just repeated what the guy said, but it's fine. Let me get to the next one. Next story, Vinny. Next story, and I've given you the feedback. So anyways, let me get to the next story. So apparently Google is planning on releasing mosquitoes.
Great.
Okay? What do you mean mosquitoes? They want to release millions of mosquitoes into California to help stop diseases. What's the disease? What do you want to do? No, they want to release mosquitoes. Guys, this is not Rob, this is not a spoof of a story. This is a real story that we're talking about.
Correct, and they want to do it here in the state of Florida as well.
Yeah, well, that's where it's going to be a problem when you're doing something like that. But Google planning to release mosquitoes, a tech giant, is seeking federal approval to release. You ready for this, folks? 32 million specially treated mosquitoes in California and Florida over the next 2 years as part of an effort to reduce the spread of mosquito-borne disease, including West Nile virus, St. Louis encephalitis, and then a bunch of other viruses that I'm not going to read. The proposal is currently under review by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, which is accepting public comments through June 5th before deciding whether to issue an experimental permit. Rob, can we see what these mosquitoes look like that they're talking about? On Friday, a positive sample of West Nile virus was confirmed in Riverside County. The project is part of Google's little-known debug initiative launched more than a decade ago to develop new technologies aimed at reducing populations of disease-carrying mosquitoes rather than releasing biting insects. The company plans to release male mosquitoes infected with Wolbachia, a naturally occurring bacteria. Is that what the mosquitoes look like?
He has eyebrows.
Rob, is that it?
Yes, this is what they're saying. This is from the CDC.
How long does it take to make each of these mosquitoes? Do we know? How long does it take to make these mosquitoes? What is the cost of each mosquito? So if one of them is a self-limiting gene that prevents female mosquitoes' offspring from surviving to adulthood. Another one is a fluorescent marker gene that glows under a special red light that allows researchers to identify GM mosquitoes in the wild. GM mosquitoes produce in a lab lay eggs which carry the self-limiting and fluorescent marker. Used for mosquito control, when the egg hatch, they develop into adult mosquitoes. These mosquitoes mate with wild females Makes sense. The genes are passed on to offspring. The expected result of using GM mosquitoes is that number of AE mosquitoes in that area decreases. It's pretty wild. Did you know that only female mosquitoes bite? They need a blood meal to produce eggs. Male mosquitoes do not bite.
Typical.
They feed on nectar from flowers. Tom, your thoughts on this? Does this concern you at all?
Yes, because you know what? I find this to be ridiculous. You know, I find this to be I don't trust it because California and Florida do have something in common, and that is massive agriculture crops. You know, there are grapefruit and oranges, and it's called Orange County around Orlando for a reason, and it was called Orange County in Southern California for a reason. So check this out, Pat. Fruit flies can be a problem. They can infest orange groves, grapefruits, lemons. You saw all the lemons. We used to drive in up through Ventura County toward Santa Barbara, and you could see lemon groves, all this stuff. Well, check this out. Fruit flies became a problem, and scientists came up and says, hey, you know what we could do? We could breed a bunch of sterile males. We can breed a bunch of fruit flies. We'll sterilize the male with chemical or radiation or something. We'll have some various techniques. And then we'll release them out into the wild. And then they'll mate with the females, and the females won't get pregnant. And there'll be no more fruit flies, and we'll cause it. They spent millions and millions, I think even billions of dollars on it. And guess what happened? The neutered male fruit flies were less strong, and they didn't fly as well. And sometimes they would mate with the female, and then she would turn around and then mate with a wild male fruit fly and get pregnant anyway. That's what was happening. I don't trust these programs. And by the way, there's a hysterical University of Nebraska study that goes back like 2010, 2012. But it basically said, guys, sterilizing the fruit flies and sending them out may not even work. And as a matter of fact, you may have the same size problem that you did because the sterile males, you know, flew weakly. And by the way, guess what? The females in the wild tended to prefer the males that were in the wild, not the sterilized, weak-flying sterile fruit flies. And I thought this was hysterical. So
Yeah, by the way, they tested
it's just
this.
like, here we go again.
They did this in 2017. Google did this, actually. Google's life sciences unit is releasing 20 million bacteria in Fresno. Infected mosquitoes in Fresno. Verily, the life science arm of Google parent company Alphabet has hatched a plan to release 20 million lab-made bacteria infected mosquitoes in Fresno, and that's a good thing. You see the Zika carrying Aedes aegypti mosquitoes prevalent in the area. Earlier this year, a woman contracted with the first case of Zika in Fresno through sexual contact with a partner who has been traveling. Now there's a fear of inevitable mosquito meats patient if we don't do something about it. Verily plans called the Debug Project hopes to now wipe out. I mean, you know, there's certain industries you go in that, first of all, even, by the way, let's just say a noble person was running that company.
Okay. Alphabet?
No, let's say a noble person is trying to release these mosquitoes. Take somebody you trust and they're running a company.
Okay.
Is there any winning in this business? People ask you, what do you do for a living? We release mosquitoes.
Wait.
And how
what
many
kind
of
of
them? Yeah, in 2017, we released 20 million in Fresno. And we're thinking about doing 32 million, but we're good people. We're church going.
Okay.
How hard of a job it is to do.
Yeah. Dude, you ruined my summer. My backyard was terrible.
Yeah. By the way, give you some context. You know how much 32 million mosquitoes are? Not a lot. Rob, how many total mosquitoes are there in America? I'm sure somebody counted them one by one.
2 billion.
Yeah. It's, no.
And separate them by citizens and illegals.
Tens of trillions?
That's the number. Tens of trillions of mosquitoes. 32 million mosquitoes is like the poor 22,000 cops in France trying to prevent all the immigrants in France of destroying the city with 780 arrests. 32 million mosquitoes is nothing.
Tens of
trillions of mosquitoes just in North America alone. By the way, added to tens of trillion, 9 of them are in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you know that or not. During summer, they show up when it rains. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Exactly.
Because they want to release this in California and Florida.
Yeah.
It's like 62%.
I just want to know one question. Do local communities get to vote on this, or do they just get to release mosquitoes when they feel like it? It kind of reminds me of one of those things that's like, you only stop a bad guy with a gun with a good guy with a gun. It's like you only stop a encephalitis mosquito with a non-male binary mosquito that basically takes down the queen mosquito. Everyone should be skeptical, but at the same time, we should understand I assume they know what they're doing.
You're gonna assume. I don't know about you, but the past few years,
By the way,
people don't
Adam
blindly.
asked a good question, though. Did the people of the city have to vote
I
for
think
it?
they are.
I asked,
Okay.
did people in Fresno have to vote for it? It says no. The residents of Fresno did not vote for the mosquito project. The program was handled through a combination of regulatory approvals, local mosquito control district, public comment period, and environmental and health reviews. It was not placed on a statewide ballot for Fresno voters. Verily worked with local mosquito control authorities and state federal regulators to conduct a release. Public meetings and comment opportunities were held, but there was no referendum requiring majority voter approval. That's interesting.
Yeah, you would want the people that are living there at least to have a say. Like,
So
at
you mean
school board meetings and be like, hey, I'm not cool with what you guys are doing. You guys are putting these books in the library. They get to go and voice their opinion and push back.
Yeah, so the critics were saying exactly what you said. Critics said the residents should have a direct vote. Releasing millions of mosquitoes affected by a broader community, we should have something to say. Large-scale biological interventions should require stronger public consent. Man, I don't know. This is the direction we're going.
But wait, have we not learned in the past couple of years just blindly trusting these giant corporations and billionaires? They're playing scientists. We just talked about Bill Gates recently. This is Google and this is Alphabet, right? This is a parent company.
Vinny, let me tell you what's coming.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you what's coming.
What?
Can we play imagination game real quick? You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so check this out. What is the likelihood that if it already exists, it could already exist, what is the likelihood in the next 5-10 years there's going to be mosquito drones this small that they'll fly into the negotiation room and just sit there? You know, they say, I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. Military mosquito-sized drones to go and track anything and everything that's being said and leak the information.
I wouldn't put. If they're not already in the late stages or they don't have one, they'd be very, very dumb. Like, I'm pretty sure that they're almost there. Do you remember in
but you could never tell anybody about it. Is that it, Rob?
Look at that guy.
Look at that guy. What does this drone do? Tiny, quiet enough to be called mosquito drone? Black Hornet. What does it do, Rob?
Black Hornet.
Oh, okay. Can you play it? Actually, play. Let's listen to the audio. Yeah, for sure this is coming. Maybe the music we can't play. Yeah. So it has the camera in there. Look at the camera, the way it comes out. Boom. It's like the mosquitoes dangling, but it's the camera that comes out, and then it records.
I wouldn't put it past. It's
flight computer. You can make it so flippin' small that is not even detectable. Data extractor, Vinny. It goes in the computer and extracts. Like, you ever seen the Transformers 1?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is in a purse and it's trying to find Wickwicky's glasses.
Yeah. Wickwicki?
Yeah, Wickwicky's glasses.
Do you remember in The Fifth Element? They had the guy had a remote control. A cockroach had like things on its head.
Well, Pat,
the freaking sharks have laser beams.
What's the term they use when you have something in a room, recording devices? It's called bugged.
Aha.
There you go, right there. By the way, you remember when you caught my Masoud mosquito?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm replacing that as we speak.
It was quite a few.
I'm replacing that as we speak.
But by the way, do you not think for a second intel agencies are right now working on mosquito-sized cameras?
It's already done, Pat.
I think it's already
It's already done.
For sure. I mean,
instead of biting you, the mosquitoes just
forget
like.
about because pagers are big, mosquitoes are not.
Yeah, exactly.
Pagers are
exactly.
big. Imagine 5,000 mosquitoes going at boom, 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 and it just pops and it bites you. And by the way, even worse, like there's some really nasty areas you can go. Imagine mosquitoes that can release viruses.
Oh.
The way you can get rid of 50% of a nation.
That's what
they just fly. No, literally.
I know.
You drop them, they go. It's like on a mission. Release 100 mosquitoes into an area. Next thing you know, half the population is gone. It used to be frogs they used to focus on, and frogs would become, it's a different situation. But anyways, I don't know. These mosquitoes I don't trust. But
Me neither. I don't trust them at
so
all.
let's go to the next story. Next story I want to get into is, folks, if you don't like, if you like speeding, all right, and you get a lot of speeding tickets, and you're part of that community, you know what it is. It's like it's a very close-knit group of people that relate to each other who have a very strong right foot. It's problematic for some of us. Some of you who have had your license suspended 2 or 3 times. My license was just suspended 3 months ago. I didn't even know. Jennifer's like, your license was just suspended. For what, babe? Speeding tickets are not a good thing to get, but some people get a lot of them, okay? Hochul wants to put cameras, tracking device, apparently, in your car if you get a lot of speeding tickets. Go ahead, Rob.
This is another area where I'm surprised at the controversy around it when it makes so much sense. You think about someone, I'm going to ask these gentlemen here, if someone gets 16 speeding tickets in a year, would you consider that an excess speeder? Yeah, that's not normal,
that's
right,
a hero.
guys? I mean, they're just looking for an accident. They're looking to end up in this repair shop. So what we said, we have to protect people. There's pedestrians, there's moms pushing strollers, there's people on bikes, there's kids going to school. We have to protect people. And if someone is so flagrantly violating the laws that there's a callous disregard of human life, is the only way I can describe it, there have to be consequences. Have to be. So now we have technology that says there's a device that can be installed in a vehicle that would limit how fast you can go. And I think that's what happens. There's plenty of notification. You can appeal if you want to question one of the tickets in the prod. There's due process. We'll make sure. But installing this, and if you don't install it, after 45 days, you lose your registration. You should not be on the roads if you don't care about whether or not you're going to kill somebody. And when you hug a mom...
Are the people behind it, do they not have a job? Go to work.
But no, by
what
the
are you
way,
doing
if you look
there?
at the guy in the middle, how he's looking down in shame. You know why? He's got 17 speeding tickets. He's worried. Look at him closely. He's like, oh, shit, what's going to happen if they find out?
Yeah.
What's going to happen if they find out? But here's the thing. You know how they start off with, it's just a 1% tax.
Yes.
It's just a 3%. It's just 5%. It's just 10%, Vinny. It's just 33%.
Wait.
Hello, it's 57%. You're living in the state of California. So they can start off with, it's 16 speeding tickets.
Okay.
In a year, Vinny.
That's a lot.
I mean, if you got 16 speeding tickets in a year, you don't deserve a license.
I agree.
They should take that license away from you. But if they started with 16, guess what eventually can get down to? 3 speeding tickets in a year.
I was going to say 3.
So if you get 3 speeding tickets in a year, so they'll control the knob and they'll keep making it tighter, tighter, tighter. Tom, for someone like you who never speeds, what do you think about the story?
Well,
we have speed bumps made on the property.
I know.
On an 11-acre property, they named that
Biz bump.
This may, shock some people, but I'm coming up on 10 years.
No speeding tickets.
No speeding tickets.
Okay, to all the cops in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I can tell you, he's got a red Ferrari.
Red Ferrari.
Stand outside of our building.
And what does it say around his license plate? Do you know what it says? What's it say, Tom?
F the police.
Very no, that's on the front. That's on the front.
I'm not speeding. I'm qualifying.
I'm qualifying. You know that's telling the cop, hey, it's all good. I speed. That's letting the cop know that I drive fast. Because
no, I mean, I think there's so number one, some time ago, for people who were alcoholics, there was mechanisms that could be put in a vehicle so that you had to do a breathalyzer when you got in the vehicle, and if it detected anything, it would not let you start the car. And those are people that were trying to recover but had multiple relapses. And so those sorts of things were good, but those are supposed to be court-ordered devices that said, hey, we're going to do this. The police are here for the speeding tickets, and then you suspend the license. So this is, you give the government a knob and they're going to turn it, and that's not good. And this is from a guy that, minding my own business, late for work in April of 1986, leaving school, had 6 moving violations in a 1.5 mile distance. And I was pulled over by 2 cops and a helicopter. And they also added attempted to evade pursuit. That last one really pisses them off.
You got choppered.
Yeah, I got choppered. So it was 6 violations. So I almost lost my license because I had a clean record. And they're like, you have a clean record and you had a very busy morning, kid. But I saw a lot of people in that experience.
Weren't you like 59 with that? Was like
No. This is
Tom?
This is 1986.
Oh.
So basically, I sat in traffic court because I'm not just in little traffic court. I'm in, hey, we want to charge you here, vehicular misdemeanor. We want to take your license and all that. What was interesting in there, I saw a lot of people in there that shouldn't be driving, and a lot of people in there that were struggling with life and had a lot of things that you say, man, if there's a mechanism to keep them out of the car or to have some sort of checkpoint for the safety of mankind, maybe we should do it. But I am against this. You can voluntarily do this with your insurance company. You know that, Pat? You're about to have a teenage driver. You can voluntarily put the sensor in your car, and it takes all the data. And then with a cell phone, you send that data once a month or whatever to your insurance company. I think now if the car has Wi-Fi in it or is a connected car, it'll send it in automatically. And they will give you a discount on your teenage driver if the teenage driver is showing to be a good, safe driver.
Really?
Yep. It tests how quickly you accelerate. It tests like speed. It knows where you are on I-95.
Okay.
It knows the difference between 72 and 85.
You're selling me on Hochul now, Tom. You're not
No,
telling me that Hochul's
I'm
the greatest
against
governor.
I'm against Big Brother.
Dude, I never thought Tom was going to be like
No,
pro
I'm
Hochul.
against Big Brother, but I'm in favor of capitalism coming up with solutions that citizens voluntarily use.
Rob, what
Here
do
it
you
is,
think?
State Farm, drive safe and save. Telematics for parents that gives you a discount if your kid is not driving like an idiot.
Rob, what do you think about this?
I'm a hypocrite because I have the State Farm drive safe and save.
You do?
I do, but I'm against Kathy Hochul being able to regulate because I agree with you. I think it's a slippery slope. The second, how long until it becomes, oh, in addition to this, let's take anybody who shoplifted, not condoning the act by any means, but they're just going to keep moving the goalpost to make it easier and easier and easier to regulate your driving.
Or all these people who are registered Republicans.
Yeah, exactly. Or you had me, all of a sudden it becomes that CDBC, the central bank digital currency fear, where it's, if you're not playing by their rules, you don't get to play at all.
Adam, that's a heavy driver. How do you feel about it?
Listen, this is my story, pal. You know I'm a super speeder.
Because I know you're going to say something.
Of course. Well, listen, let's get real here. If someone has 16 tickets in a year, I mean, what kind of driver is that?
Well,
I don't want PBD on the road. I've been encouraging this guy not to drive since the day I've met him. Have I not?
I only drive twice a week now.
And that's what I like that. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Dan. But I think there's a bigger conversation here that we should be having about government control and regulation over liberty. A lot of people objected to having seatbelts in your car. Seatbelts have saved lives. A lot of people objected to gun rights, but there's certain guns that shouldn't be out on the streets. But we should honor the Second Amendment. Freedom of speech, taxes. There's an ongoing control liberty conversation in America. But, 16 speeding tickets in a year, you probably should have some regulation, just like a DUI. You should not have more than one DUI in a year. I know people that have 3 to 5 DUIs. These guys should not be on the road.
There are some people that should not be driving. That I'm fully with. One time a cop pulls over my dad. My dad looks at the cop. He says, "What are you doing?" He says, "What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm pulling you over." He says, "There's no law I've ever broken. Go look at my record since 1984, which is when he got his license." He says, "I've never had a speeding." He gets upset at the cop. The cop lets him go. My dad's never had a ticket since 1984.
I love
not
it.
once. He follows the law better than the law.
Good.
So if it says 65, my dad's doing 62.
I love him.
If he says stop for 3 seconds, he'll take
He's
20
stopping.
seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad's the kind of guy, if we got a flight.
Law-abiding citizen.
If we got a flight today at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my dad's are 7 a.m. He's not
Just
missing
in
this
case.
flight.
No, he's not. I'm the
my
same
dad's
as
there's
Gabriel.
7 a.m. But yesterday you're texting like, movie starts at 3. I'll pick him up at 2:30. I'm like, dude, you can leave at 3:15.
Yeah, the movie
And
starts
you'll
at
still-
3.
Because
Pat's
you
like,
have-
no. Pat's like,
you
the
have
food
20
just got here. We're good. I go, Pat, it's 2:58.
And you have 20 minutes of promos.
So let me actually go into the story because so a meme becomes a movie. You mean to tell me a meme and a guy makes a video, gets 7.9 million views with doors and what is it called? It's called back what?
Back rooms.
Back rooms. And this thing becomes a movie. A 20-year-old directs the movie.
Yep.
Small little budget. And how much did it do opening weekend, Vinny?
So Pat, so Obsession. Okay, I'm sorry. Backrooms was made for $10 million. It made I don't have the number. Oh, I'm sorry.
117 million opening weekend.
$17 million
Opening weekend. That's crazy.
Good for him.
So this weekend, a moody horror movie based on an internet meme looks like it could bring in astonishing $60 million at the box office, which means it could be Disney's Mandalorian, Star Wars. Director Kane Parsons has made stuff on YouTube for years, but this was a film for theaters, which made sense. He is 20 years old. The follows of success of Obsession, which has grossed $74 million last 2 weeks. It was made by 26-year-old Curry Barker, another YouTube veteran making his theatrical debut. Those films come after Mark Fishbach, better known for his 38 million YouTube fans as Markiplier, brought out his Iron Lung movie, which he made for a reported $3 million. Okay, so I haven't seen it yet. I was supposed to go watch it with you, but I went and watched a different movie yesterday.
What'd you guys watch?
Okay, so let me tell you what movie we watched.
Because Brooklyn came out of the movie. She jumped in my arms, and then she was trying to tell me. You heard her character breakdown, and the movie breakdown was hilarious.
I will gladly tell you. Originally, I wasn't going to say this, but we watched a movie called Sheep Detectives. Okay. I'm actually not kidding with you. We watched Sheep Detectives. Okay. And yes, I'm proud that I watched this movie. Let me tell you, it's a phenomenal,
starring Elton John,
phenomenal movie. Believe it or not, it's a phenomenal movie. But what was this? The back? What is it called?
Back rooms. I'm not giving anything away. No spoiler alert. I'm not that guy. But it was basically
thriller horror, right?
The horror film.
Were you ever scared like shiver?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, by the way, I screamed. By the way, Tico's holding his ears. By the way, the music, the soundtrack, all amazing, all amazing. This guy who owns a furniture store finds this part of a wall that goes into another dimension. I'm not gonna give it away, but guys, it was weird. It felt like a mix of like, what's the movie with Inception? With the mix of like, I don't even know, like Matrix. It was great. But Pat, this is it. This is the biggest opening ever for an original film, like you said. 20-year-old Kane Parsons. He started on YouTube. But here's what's happening. Disney spent $165 million and 7 years trying to revive Star Wars, okay? Obsession came out, Pat, which I already texted Tico this morning. It was made for $750,000, okay? Both directed, by the way, by 20-year-old YouTubers. Disney's sitting at number 3. Think about that, guys. Okay, not only did Star Wars lose the weekday numbers to Obsession last week, but in the weekend, too, it collapsed 69.4%, the worst second-week drop in Star Wars history, worse than Solo, which everybody considered it a disaster. Then it gets even more embarrassing. Obsession, in its third week, went up 19% past Star Wars again. Then Backroom showed up and steamrolls everybody, okay? And my thing is, this is what happens when Hollywood, we've seen it for the past, 8 years, Pat? Maybe a little bit more. They forgot about storytelling, and they making content that feels corporate, sanitized, woke, DEI nonsense, preachy, and just manufactured committees. But these,
in other words, Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. But these younger creators, they grew up understanding like the internet culture, what people like, this suspense, the pacing. Guys, I told Tico, the way that it's shot, you feel like you're there. And when you're getting those jump scares, you actually feel like it's scary. Not like the nonsense that these freaking big studios are making. And then like this, actually you're entertaining people and not lecturing them every freaking 5 minutes.
But this is the guy. This video right here, you won't believe how many views it got. So he produced this. This was a meme. He produced this 4 years ago, 5 years ago, this video.
Yeah.
Guess how many views this video has with 9 minutes and 13 seconds?
How much?
How many views do you think this thing's got? Can you fast forward a little bit? Okay, so it starts like that, and then it's just a bunch of...
This is it. By the way, this is the...
You know how many views this thing's got from 4 years ago, Rob? Can you pull it out so they can see that sounded bad? Can you just pull the...
81 million.
81 million views is what it's got.
Good for him.
4 years ago.
Good for him.
And it's the same guy that ends up doing the movie.
Yeah, and then Pat, check that out though. See that 3.19 million? Those people, he grew the fans by himself. They know exactly who he is. They know he knows how to shoot. They're the ones going and supporting, and they're going to watch it. By the way, I had no idea who he was till Tico showed me this guy. This guy before the movie. Tico was showing me this.
The game is changing, man, with kids. The game is changing with movies. 20-year-old directors making a movie that does $118 million worldwide opening weekend.
Truly scaring, and hold on, and truly scaring people. Like, because that's the thing. That's the thing. You're going to go watch it because you want to get scared. Pat, Obsession and The Mandalorian and Guru, they're both tracking to make $300 million. Let's just be, okay. Even though the indie horror cost $750, the reboot for Star Wars costs $165 million with another $200 million on marketing. Guess what Kane's marketing is? My YouTube channel. Check out my YouTube channel and doing what we're doing. So kudos to him, Pat, and all these young indie people that are beyond making a dent. They're knocking down the damn building.
You know what's really crazy about this? That you bring this up. You know what was the most successful independent? One of the two most successful independent movies.
I guess.
Horror? Blair Witch Project.
And then Paranormal.
1999,
Yep.
And it cost $60,000 to make, which is $150,000 today, and it did a 248 box office.
What about
then
Paranormal?
Then there was The Room, also 2003, and then you have El Mariachi, 1992, and then Iron Lung, that was built this year, and Obsession this year. So you have 2 of the top 7 independent movies of all time, small budget, self-funded, happened just this year. And what Pat just said, the game is changing. Do you remember Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Of course.
Yeah, of
That was a small studio fund. They said, look, we'll do a $5 million budget. This is 2002, 2003. That's your ceiling. You got to make it work for that. And so that would be $9.7 million today. And they went out and did $368 million, which is $650 today. So you know what's really funny? It's what you're talking about. It's storytelling and the projects that get through the filter. There was, do you remember Project Greenlight?
Of course, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Right. It's them telling the story of how hard it is to take good storytelling, and you got to get people to believe in it.
Yeah.
Ben freaking Affleck took, I believe it was 11 years to get studio distribution. He had the money, but he needed to get studio distribution support for Argo.
Argo, yeah. Which was a freaking hit.
Argo
Won
was
Oscar.
a phenomenal movie.
But he had the money, but it took 11 years to get a studio behind it to give him a release date so he could get it.
God bless you.
That's I could have done. Damn it.
To you independent creators out there, follow it, man. The audience is out there.
I love this for kids. I love this for kids because you're talking to Tico. You're like, hey, how about we do a horror movie?
I talked to him.
I love this for kids. You know, he's writing stuff right now.
Of course he is.
Did he tell you or no?
Of
He's
course.
writing.
He didn't tell me what, but
Oh no, he's not telling anybody till he's done. But he's writing characters. I got him the book about how to write the book proper way by a guy named Jim Scott Bell that Tom introduced me to 15 years ago. And Jim Scott Bell, Rob, if you pull him up, James Scott Bell, he wrote the best book on how to get the right plot for a book. The first one, right, the plot and structure, right there. Yeah,
I saw him reading this.
Yeah. That's the book. So this book gives you, how to properly write a fiction book. So he's kind of going through it right now. He's deep into it, by the way. He's deep into it. So who knows? Maybe we're going to be,
I want to act. I told him I want to act. I better not die in the first 8 seconds of the movie.
He will intentionally do something
100%.
like that. Let me get into the next story here. Next story I want to get into is roller coasters, okay? And heights. Folks, if you like heights, if you don't like heights, this is what just happened, okay? And this is the video that he's describing. These kids, these people are stuck on a roller coaster ride 105 feet up, and the ladder only goes up 100 feet, and they're trying to save these kids, these people. Play this clip, Rob. Go ahead.
So we're working with feet and inches here. Just the unique situation does make it a challenge, especially with all the guests and the visitors. And of course, it had to be on the day school was let out. So it was a challenge today to get personnel off the pier. But the crews and the personnel here at Pleasure Pier, they did an amazing job with helping us. And it actually went smoother than expected.
Can you?
I was gonna be next. Okay, it's 8 people for that coaster, right? So I was next. Yeah. And then obviously the little roller coasters always makes noise, right? So boom, they got on. The roller coaster goes like this, it stops, right? So once it stops, it pushes you all the way up. But this time it made a very big bang, it went boom.
Damn.
So it just got stuck there. It just got stuck. And then there's where the operator was trying to click buttons and stuff like that, right? Just trying to bring it down.
Yeah.
So then boom, he keeps doing it. He's like, oh, it's not working. So he told the other guy, because it's 2 right. So boom. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna need you to get out. And then we were like, why? He's like, oh, something's malfunctioning. We're like, oh, shoot. Good thing we didn't go first, because that would have been crazy. We'd be up there right now, you know?
It is.
I like the way he talks.
What park was this?
So, Rob,
They said Pleasure Pier in Houston, Texas?
It's for adults only. Pleasure Pier. What a terrible name for a park. Can you imagine?
Pleasure Pier, and the guy's just like
nude park with roller coaster rides.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have it of the people walking down and folks reacting to it? Folks, there is certain things in life that you know. Let me tell you. You watching this, people coming down, the way they're hanging onto the rails just to make sure nothing happens to them. The level of risk and concern some of these folks have while they're coming down, it's absolutely crazy. It took them, I don't know how long it took them. It took them apparently a few hours for them to eventually get down. But there's so many clips on this. Is that the one where they're getting down?
Oh, my God. And look at
Look at the guys turning around, trying to get, look at the guy on the top right.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. I hate that.
But do you have them walking down, Rob? Because they're the best clips are. Okay, look, they got one of them off.
They're walking down safely, but it is
Whoa.
That's nerve-wracking.
Tom, I'm not. I hate it.
Well, they have
For 4 hours, they were up there.
Let me explain something to you. By the way,
4 hours, Vinny. 4 hours.
Have you like? I know this is a peer thing, but when's the last time you were at a carnival? Like, and we trust these people. Those guys are on meth. They have no teeth. That guy has no teeth. He can't take care of his teeth. You're gonna trust him on a freaking roller coaster that Fred the meth head from freaking
And they just put it together yesterday with a socket wrench.
No, dude. Like the trust that you have in those guys. I don't know. No. Pat, imagine if it was forward and they were forward and just dangling like that. No, dude. Nope. You'll never catch me on one of those
So
ever.
a similar thing like this happened at Six Flags. And the Six Flags one was 245 feet up. And they had to walk down. Rob, I just texted it to you. They had to walk down, Vinny, 245 feet up. And you have to hold on.
No.
Look at the way that girl's
and
hanging
it's
out.
windy.
The guy behind him is just like,
Hello.
hey, waving. Heights do nothing for those guys. Rob,
it's
the
Pride
music.
Month, so he's
Look at the fourth guy. No. Go. Vinny, this is like for some people. This
my God. That you?
245.
No.
245 feet up. You're walking all the way down.
No, thank you. I'm good.
So roller coasters.
Yeah.
Does it do anything for you?
Before I got my ear injury, I would love it. I would go to Six Flags with my boy Buck, and we'd go on every single one. The ones where you lay forward and it goes backwards. I was cool with it. The moment that ear injury happened and my vertigo kicked in, I can't. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Run a poll, Rob. Run a poll. How many people are afraid of roller coasters? Big, what do you call them? Like big roller coaster rides.
The flipping ones, the ones that go up and down.
Run a poll. I want to know what people say. Maybe watch our audience be like, y'all love it.
I'm going to say, can I guess a number? 75% love it. 25% will never go on roller coaster.
Tom, does it bother you? Will you go on the big roller coaster rides?
Well, I go on big roller coaster rides, and I don't mind it. But I'm not going to go on like 5 a day and go over and over and over again.
No.
I'll go there with other people, enjoy it and everything. I'm not afraid of it. I'm just not into it. And I don't go to these little carnivals and little things like that. It better be like a tier 1.
He tried getting
amusement.
The recent one where were we this past? We did something where you're walking. We rented out the place. Where
that was
it?
after the vault.
After the vault, and Pat, listen to me. Pat's in front of me. He's like, no. Trust me, come on. Something in me was like, I love him, but I do not trust him.
That's the best ride.
People
the
got
motorcycle.
The motorcycle flipping upside down. What is it called, Rob?
Velociraptor.
No, not Velociraptor. Velocicoaster is one. Yeah. Velociraptor is one.
This guy was trying. Like I would have been. I still would have been feeling the effects.
I went on it 3 times in a row, Vinny. That is the greatest ride in Universal Studios.
I'm okay with that.
There is nothing. I've never been on a better ride than this one. It's phenomenal. It's an incredible ride. Anyways, Adam, your thoughts on this?
I'm good on this. What you're talking about is Universal Studios. You took us there after the vault. And I caught myself in a little group with Natalia, Senna, and I believe Liz. And the 4 of us went on a Harry Potter ride. Who was the most excited to go on the ride? By far, Senna.
Senna, obviously.
And I learned something very unique about Universal Studios roller coasters. As soon as you get off, there's a throw-up room on the left.
You remember?
And why do I know this?
I remember.
Because Natalia...
Love
you, Nat. Telling that she's like, the lady they know the face.
Yes, of course.
They're just like, come right this way. Boom, Harry Potter throw up world over there.
Yeah.
I said, where did you go? She goes, there's a throw up room over there.
What do you do for a living?
There's some guy mopping all day long, singing a song.
Wow.
But that's what's going on. I'm good on these roller coasters. I don't have a need for speed.
No.
I don't even drive a car. I like to chill.
Yeah.
But good to know if you go on a roller coaster, there's a throw-up room hanging on the left side of the screen.
Feed a bunch of 6-year-olds blue and red Jello and then pretend it's 4th of July.
Let's go to this next. By the way, did you guys see the stuff with Diddy and 50 Cent?
I didn't. I heard about
video and all this stuff, and you know what happened there with 50 Cent's ex, daddy's
baby daddy
type
mama?
of stuff. You didn't see, so you didn't follow the videos closely. You weren't like zooming in. Okay, so then let's go. If that's the case, let's just wrap up with this last story, which is the man held in triple homicide that killed 3 generations of California family. Vinny, you wanted to talk about this. What happened here?
Okay,
is that the clip, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Rob.
Family members of those 3 victims waited together outside of this crime scene as they learned what happened to their loved ones.
It hurt the whole family, you know. It's 3 people, 3 loved ones.
Modesto police say 2
This is
women, a
Modesto?
23-year-old and a
California.
54-year-old, were found stabbed to death at a home near Thrasher and Monterey Avenues. A baby was also stabbed and taken to the hospital where they died.
The baby was about 3 weeks.
Stop.
This is a tragedy, and there's words cannot express how terrible this incident is.
Modesto Police Lieutenant Eric Schuler says a 4-year-old was also found inside of the home.
Hiding.
They were taken to the hospital to be checked out and have since been cleared and released.
What, Vinny, what happened?
Well, I'm telling you what happened, Pat. California sanctuary city, and I'm going to say this, the blood of all of these people is on Gavin Newsom and his freaking failed, horrible state of California, okay? This guy had prior DUIs. Pat, arrested, ready for this? Federal immigration records show he was an illegal immigrant from Mexico, deported 3 separate times, kept coming back, okay? And this is the sanctuary state. Under California law, local authorities, they're restricted from cooperating with ICE in all these immigration enforcement situations, okay? And California sanctuary policies, they prevent ICE from taking custody of this freaking, can I call this guy a demon? That's a demon, Pat.
That's a qualified demon.
Qualified demon, okay? And I have one question, Pat. Where are the protests? I'm so curious. Where are the crowds of people outside Gavin Newsom's mansion screaming for accountability after a mother, guys, 2 weeks old? If you guys understand that, butchered by this freaking illegal that's not supposed to be here. Well, I want to know, where are the celebrities? Where's everybody? Where are the nurses? Where are the nurses beating everybody up? And where are the lesbians blocking, trying to drive over people? Where are you at? Not one peep. This story barely made a freaking blip on the radar, but I had to bring it up, Pat. 3 generations wiped out from a guy that's not only been deported, kept coming back in because California's like, no, come in. I think it's disgusting, Pat. And this just goes back to our initial thing with people like Spencer Pratt and all these governors that are trying. You guys need a change, and you need it ASAP. I pray for these family, Pat. God rest their souls. You know, especially the 2-week-old has a one-way ticket to heaven. God bless them. But this is California. What else do you expect from California? This is it.
Tom, thoughts? Well, it's tragic.
Oh, my goodness. 2 weeks,
By the way,
Pat.
so the grandmother was Maria Silvia Nunez Villalobos, 54 years old. The daughter, Fabiola Gonzalez Nunez, 23 years old. Mateo Gonzalez, infant son, 2 weeks old. 2 weeks old. Police responded to a disturbance call at 9:20 a.m. with multiple stabs. As they searched the residence, they found Maria with the infant, also suffering from stab wounds. Both women were pronounced dead at the scene. The baby was transported and later on died, and a 3-year-old was hiding.
Imagine that, Ben.
Police arrested Joaquin Escoto, 28 years old.
Why aren't they all losing their minds? Where are the Californians? Where are the protests? Where's the anger? Where's the governors reaching out and saying something? Zero. Crickets, okay? Hypocrisy at the greatest level. Like, this should be the #1 story, is an illegal killed the entire 3 generations of people and a 2-week-old. Anything? Anything, CNN? Anything? Not one. Not one story. Period. Silence.
You're seeing things close in. You're seeing things close in, and not fast enough for this family, unfortunately, this disgusting tragedy. My gosh. And now this young child's got to grow up under the stewardship of foster care or some other distant relative, and then understand that he lost his younger sibling, he lost his grandma, he lost his mom, and all on a single day. And the bitterness and rage that can come out of that is horrible. And you pray for that one. But I'll tell you, there are changes. You look in the last elections and you look how people are voting. Forget that it's Trump. Look at the conservatism that is starting to roll in California. They're out there saying, get all these people into El Paso, get the illegals into El Paso, get the illegals into San Antonio, and get as many Californians and liberals into Austin as possible. Let's turn Texas purple, then turn it blue. That's their strategy. We'll get right before their eyes, California's getting more and more red. Why is it that Karen Bass doesn't have 50%? Why is she sitting there at 40% in even the best polls? There's a couple of polls out there that says she's 60%, but then you look at the composition of that they took 1,000 voters and like 70% of them were registered Democrats. So that's a flawed poll. And thank you for at least being honest about it. You have two independents that are carrying 15% of the vote, and you've got Spencer Pratt. It is turning. Let's look tomorrow and see what that vote is in Los Angeles, and look at the last election cycles and see at the conservatism and look at the red counties in the central state and things closing up. I believe the core citizens are saying they've had enough. But I don't see any protests coming from the other side, because they're not going to protest. This is not on message. This is not on narrative. So this is to be ignored, let it go away. And that's what's disgusting. So it just goes to show you, they don't care about people. They care about power and the path to power. And the path to power isn't pointing this out as a problem. The path to power is ignoring this and making the other side the problem.
Adam.
It's a disgusting story, Pat. You know they say life is short, right? And I always push back and I say, well, life could also be long. We're in the longevity world. I said a lot of people are living to 100. My grandma's 94 now. I had another grandma that died right after 100. But you know what life is? Life is precious. And at any point, it could be taken away. 3 generations taken away in an instant. It's horrible. And I tell you what the American people overall are just sick of. Look, we have some sick people in this country who are citizens of our country, and that needs to be dealt with. Whether that's self-inflicted, whether that's trans stuff, whether that's drug stuff, whether that's on your cell phone. We have a lot of people with a lot of issues. But what the average American just will not permit are illegal people, immigrants coming in here and doing even worse thing. We have sick people who are doing things who are citizens and, again, need to be dealt with. But this is a line that the average American says, you don't even belong in this country, and this is what you're doing to citizens of this country. This is why people voted for Trump. This is why people are considering voting for Pratt. We need to have a return to normalcy and common sense and empathy and understanding of who we are as Americans.
But it drives me crazy, Pat, that California, Gavin Newsom, the anti-ICE rhetoric, not one peep about this. They want you to hate on the people. There's still, but Newark, New Jersey has a bunch of riots happening outside the detention center because we're trying to get rid of these freaking people. Gavin Newsom's calling them freaking, basically the Gestapo. Same thing with the freaking, who's the guy from Chicago? Who's the governor? Pritzker.
Pritzker.
That's the whole rhetoric is going after the people that are trying to get guys like this murderer of his own freaking child. It just boggles my mind, Pat. It's so frustrating that you don't hear nothing from them. Not one condolence, not one thing like, hey, guys, okay, this is a problem.
This doesn't help them because this story shows that you need ICE. This story shows and validates the need for what ICE does. But there's no way in the world they're going to show a story like this. They need the divide. But I will tell you, Vinny, okay, so for instance, every year we make mistakes. Okay, every year we make mistakes. And we'll make mistakes in the insurance company. We'll make mistakes in our personal lives. We'll make mistakes on the way we're raising kids. We'll make mistakes with our company, like right now, the stuff that the mistake we made on the conversation that came up with Goliath Ventures for the Vol Conference last year and what happened. And we'll go and we'll people, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. And we'll go and find ways on what we can do to improve our businesses. Mm-hmm. Every possible way, we'll openly talk about it with our crew and say, what can we do to improve anything that we're doing? And then there's groups of people that no matter what you do, they will only make noise when you fall. Mm-hmm. Just remember that. They will only make noise when they're just salivating for you to fall behind closed doors. Then there are those that you're supporters and they want to see you win and they believe in your authenticity and who you are and what you're doing, and they want to support you all the way to the end, right? And then there's the people in the middle. The people in the middle are like, well, what happened though? Well, okay, that's fair. I respect the fact that he did. Okay, but what happened here? Okay, can you give me some of the facts? Okay, you know what? I side with this. No, I side with this. No, I think the, 250-year 4th of July anniversary thing is a little bit of a cluster. And I think that's a screw up. You could have done a better job with it. Hired an external team to have ran that and not put it on the White House to do it. That could have been good. No, I think is this. I think independents watch stories like this and they see hypocrisy. And they'll say, you know what? You're so full of shit. All you want to do is divide, and you will not give the man any credit for anything that he does. All you want to do is tear him down. That's a part of you being on the limelight. But I bank on independents who have the ability to reason, to sit there and say, I think they're fair. I think that was a fair assessment. I think this isn't what needs to happen. So when you hear a story like this, by the way, apparently they were dating. Him and Fabiola were dating. Apparently the 3-year-old is their kid, and allegedly the infant is theirs as well. People close to the matter are like, they had an argument, they had a dispute. They said maybe alcohol was involved. He's dealing with mental issues and all this other. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter how much mental issues do you need to deal with to kill the grandmother, the daughter, and the granddaughter? Like who needs to do something like that? What gets you to those levels? So we need to make sure we keep our city safe. And by the way, Modesto is a place with a lot of Assyrians. You know, Syrians live in Modesto.
It's right near your Turlock area.
That's right. It's right around the Turlock area. So when you hear stories like this, breaks your heart for that family. Our prayers goes out to their family. You know, there's nothing you can do. In one day, you lose all three. How the hell do you deal with that when you're going through it? So my heart's broken for this family that they're going through it. Last but not least, before we wrap up, breaking news just came in right now, Rob. With the Strait of Hormuz, Iran said they're shutting it down. They're not keeping it open. They're closing it. And it's mainly around the stories of Lebanon and Israel fire that is going on. That's what they're saying, the stories behind what they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has accused Trump administration of ceasefire violations and will move to close Strait of Hormuz and stop exchanging messages with the U.S. through intermediaries. Iran's state-affiliated outlet just said this. The report, translated from a post on the messaging app Telegram, pointed to Israel's military operations in Lebanon against the Iranian-backed militia Hezbollah as a violation of the ceasefire with the U.S. Go a little bit lower, Rob. The report said an Israeli ceasefire in Lebanon is a precondition for the ceasefire between Iran and U.S., and the ceasefire has now been violated on all fronts. Iran's again. Abbas Arghachi posted on social media X that Lebanon is included in the ceasefire with the U.S., and any violation on the front shall be considered a violation of all fronts. The U.S. and Israel bear responsibility for the consequences of any breach of the truce. If you want to go a little bit lower, Rob, to wrap it up, Israel announced Sunday it's captured Lebanon's, is that the name?
The Beaufort
Castle,
that you showed
the one we talked about earlier. Yeah, Beaufort. BB on Monday ordered attacks, et cetera. So here's a part when I read this, by the way. When I read this, it makes me think about two things when you see this. One is the fact that they want you to leave Hezbollah alone. Isn't that one of their proxy militaries that they have that is on a rampage? I remember growing up with Hezbollah myself in Iran. So they want you to leave any of their proxy military, the Hezbollahs, the Houthis. Part of the term is to leave them alone. Oh, that makes a lot of sense when you're negotiating with them. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, but the part that they're getting this bold now goes back to the conversation that we had. There's something going on internally with these guys. The extremists do not want to give up the power.
Yeah.
The extremists do not want to give up the power. So as you're negotiating with them and they're closing the Strait of Hormuz, Adam, your thoughts on this?
Oh, they're playing games, Pat. And I'll tell you why. Why would Lebanon be included in a ceasefire with Iran and the United States?
Because Hezbollah is funded by them. It's one of their militaries that
because
proxies.
basically, I said Lebanon is now Iran first. People accuse America's owned by Israel.
Do me a favor first.
Yeah.
Can you show me what the gas prices are? What are gas prices showing right now? What's happened since this announcement? I'm curious to know how.
$6.50 on WTI oil.
Zoom in. Okay, it just went up.
$7.12 now.
So eight.
Look at that spike.
8.8 and 8+% increase. 94.48. So it's real. It's a real thing. Adam, continue.
Look, Iran's playing games. Put yourself in each of these people's positions. Let's say you're Israel for a second. You're like, hey, we're not even in the room, so just let us know what's in the agreement. They go, yeah, you can't. Part of the agreement is you can't go after Hezbollah anymore in Lebanon. And Israel goes, yeah, but they're shooting rockets into our cities. So what do you want us to do? So Israel, because they actually have an existential threat, literally, they're like, no, dude, we're going to go after the terrorist regime that's basically embedded themselves in Lebanon, known as Hezbollah, we can't condone this. And Iran goes, look, you see, they're just blame Israel. They broke the ceasefire again. And then do you remember what J.D. Vance says? Do you remember what Marco Rubio says? Do you remember what Trump said? He goes, yeah, Hezbollah was never part of the ceasefire. Do you remember that?
Of course.
J.D. Vance was like standing in front of a Air Force Two or something like that. He goes, no, they're trying to input that into the ceasefire.
I get that.
Into the agreement.
But I'm going to tell you something as well, Adam. There is no way Israel wants this war to stop.
Well,
there is no
Israel
way.
wants a regime change.
I know they do. So then if they, which by the way, to the people that believe Hezbollah is bad, Houthis are bad, you know, all these military proxies that they fund, that whatever money comes to them, they put it and make those strong. For those, that would be part of the side of the argument you would be with. But to me, if you're watching Bibi's moves, Bibi does not want this deal to get done.
Well,
they don't want the deal to get done.
You would know better than me. There's one word why Iran, the IRGC, does not want this to get done. And that word is revolution. If the IRGC and the Ayatollah is no longer running the Islamic Republic of Iran, you know what that means? That means the revolution is done. The whole concept that they want is this Islamic revolution to take over not only the Middle East, but the world. So if there's an actual regime change in the IRGC, the Islamic, what does it stand for? Revolutionary Guard Corps, that means the revolution is done. So like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I don't see a deal getting done.
This war is
and until they actually finish the job, I don't think we're leaving this.
What is finishing
But here's
the
my
job?
point. Either they do it now or they
Finish
do
the
this in
job
50
means
years.
different things to different people.
Finish a job, Adam, is literally nuke them. That's the only, wipe them all out because they're not going to give up.
This returns to the conversation about Kharg Island.
Well, my question to you is, what is finishing the job? Please, I want to know what finishing the job, because he makes a great point. Bibi doesn't want
for him, the finishing the job is a regime collapse or regime change. Yeah, that's what finishing the job. But to me, let me go through again. It goes back to those 5 communities, right? It goes to IRGC, which is Khamenei. It goes to the moderates like Pezeshkian, who claimed he was resigning yesterday, and now, you know, Mojtaba, he needs to prove it. With these, then you have U.S., then you have the world, and then you have Israel. Israel wants one thing, okay? Israel wants one thing. Bibi wants regime change, regime collapse all. I don't think Trump is sitting here now saying he wants the same thing as Bibi does. I don't think they share the common agenda. Look what Mark Levin is doing. Mark Levin is calling out nonstop Trump negotiating with them. Same with Cruz, same with others. Which, by the way, again, that's their position on what they want. It doesn't seem to be Trump's position. The way they get him back in by creating chaos like this and making the deal to be difficult to be done. But by the way, Vinny, a part of it which I kind of side with them is the following. I'm okay, like, if this goes with moderates running Iran, but if they're going to go and IRGC is still running the whole thing, there is no deal. You can't believe a single word that comes out of their mouth. Not one word that comes out of IRGC's mouth. Nothing.
Yeah.
You can't believe a single thing that they're saying. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But here's my thing. From the beginning of this, did they not realize these people were going to act exactly as these are the people that say death to America?
Sometimes you don't know how powerful. Sometimes you don't know what their capabilities are. By the way, they showed themselves that they can stand up.
Heck yeah.
No,
what do you mean no?
Well, they showed themselves that they're willing to kill their people and kill all their neighbors.
No, but here's my question though. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone. What? Here's my question. The Navy's gone. They keep bragging that's the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Air Force, they're decimated. How are they still
They
controlling
still have missiles
and
that they're willing,
and the regime isn't
that
changing.
they're willing to hit their neighboring countries.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm UAE,
what were they using to
or
plant
Saudi, I'm way
mines?
more worried than Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
Floaties?
Yeah. Say, Tom?
Yeah.
You said their Navy's at the bottom of it. Really? Then what were they using? They were using small, fast boats. They still have them.
Mines.
Small boat to plant mines as recently as a week and a half ago. That was a Thursday before Memorial Day, right? So they still had some capability out there because we sat there and go to, hey, excuse me,
Yeah.
you with the mine?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, right? It's right. You're about to enter the TSA express lane to see Allah, dude. Unless you want to just go and back off here. I'm being ridiculous, but I'm not being incorrect.
No,
that's what's going on. And now Israel's coming back, and it's like Israel's now playing football in
One simple question for Pat. Is there any deal any deal that the IRGC, the Ayatollah, would honor ahead of the Allah revolution of Islamic caliphate? Is there any deal they would honor above that?
I don't trust IRGC for a second. I don't trust IRGC for a second. And I don't like the fact that Pezeshkian is being pushed out and not being involved in decision-making, because it tells you the extremists are still having a chokehold on everybody, and they're going to use this as a victory against everybody. But I also understand what Bibi's doing. Bibi is going to extend the lifespan of this war by not stopping attacking Hezbollah, Lebanon. Bibi is going to extend that because he doesn't want that deal. And whether that's going to hurt his relationship with Trump or not, who knows? Behind closed doors, all the stuff that's happening. And, you know, who knows IRGC better, Trump or Bibi?
Well, Bibi.
Who's going to know the DNA of those guys? Gulf states or America? Gulf states. Gulf states are unified against the IRGC. So I don't know. I don't know. I would tell you, if you really wanted to prolong it, take out Pezeshkian. If Pezeshkian is taken on next couple weeks, that's like a real way of saying, nope, we're not. Kill all the moderates. I'm not telling you what they're going to say is like, if they kill all the moderates and that's what they do, that's their way of saying you're left with them. Do you want to negotiate with them or do you want to get rid of them? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying or not.
I get it.
Forcing you to a hand to say, all right, who do you want to do? And so now, dirty strategy, effective strategy, call it whatever you want. But they're at least their strategy is get rid of all the moderates, so you're forced to only deal with IRGC. And then you learn IRGC is not people like you and I to negotiate with. Then guess what the job is? You know, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with this. Slippery slope, going back and forth. Has Trump tweeted anything yet or no? Has he said anything about it? He typically will move very quickly with stuff like
shout
this.
Shout out to Google for having a pride.
Is that really what they're doing?
Yes.
American Pride? That's good. American Pride.
Yeah, no, that's not American
That's
Pride.
Studio 54
That's
disco.
Studio 54 disco ball for Google.
Has he said anything, Rob, or no? No, 10 hours.
10 hours.
Okay.
Well, he's going to say something soon, I guarantee it.
He will say
What is
something
this
very
right here?
short.
This was 1 o'clock this morning.
Iran really wants to make a deal, and it'll be a good one for the U.S. and those with us. But don't the Democrats, very seemingly unpatriotic Republicans, understand that it is much tougher for me to properly do my job and negotiate when political hacks keep negatively chirping at levels never seen before over and over again that I should move faster or move slower or go to war or not go to war or whatever. Just sit back and relax. It'll all work out at the end. It always does. That, by the way, that's a very reassuring message by a leader.
Yeah.
Anyways, gang, tomorrow, Rob, do we have some tomorrow or no?
No, sir. Back Wednesday.
But we are doing an interview tomorrow that possibly could be released Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll be back on Wednesday for business. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.